Hiya! This is Kitten Features, and you're listening to Show X Live with Ken in a student accommodation all the way in Scotland, and Wade in his white windowless van? Uh-oh, I better get out of here. Enjoy the show!
There we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. It's what? Second of July. Right. This is kicking in, and everyone can hear me just fine as we're ready to do the show. You are listening live at 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. GMT on this Sunday. Everyone can hear me just fine, and we'll kick things off. All right. It looks like 8 is... Let me drop this. Hopefully that'll make it keep playing better, because it seemed like it was cutting off way too early and therefore clipping my voice. So hopefully that is better. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Hando. All of a sudden, it's like my noise gate was like, nope, why are you trying to do a show here? I don't want to listen to you. All right, I'm going to keep dropping it until it stays. Can you hear me when I talk here? Okay, I think it'll be a little better now. Let's see. Weird. All I did was move downstairs to the basement and change things up a little bit. I didn't think it'd be that bad. But, all right, so everybody, welcome to the show! Let's see. Unfortunately, as you can look, you'll see the cameras and everything in the basement here today. But Ken is not going to be on with us today. He is busy elsewhere. So you are stuck with me and whoever it is else that wants to sit down at a microphone today. And so we will see how the show goes. What's that?
I didn't realize it was.
It is time already. Yes, it's amazing how quickly time flies when we're having fun here in the basement at Game Fest. All right, everybody. So, anyhow, I will get things started here. So, like I said, no Ken today, so you're going to be stuck with my voice all day, and hopefully that will be enough. And I think I was able to manage getting the cameras all set up here, so we should be good. Which mic are you on there, Campo, over on that one?
Yeah, I'll be on this one.
Alrighty then. I can make sure I kick that one up so that people will be able to hear you as well. And I apologize, everyone. You are going to hear fan noise in the background because... that's the servers and everything else running and clicking, so that's going to happen. All right, talk for me.
I am talking for you.
Outstanding! It looks like we are both coming through wonderfully today, so that's going to work out perfectly. Crack that beer.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, you're good. It's Game Fest. What do you expect? All right, so as you've seen, it's just me, and now we've got a Campo on the show. And we're going to try to fill your airwaves today with a little discussion about what we've been doing this weekend playing for Game Fest. This has been, like many we've done in the past. It continues to happen. This one, admittedly, being kind of chill, I would say.
One of the better ones in recent history, though, I think.
Well, I was going to say, I think you've really enjoyed it. You were mentioning that you've had a very good time this Game Fest.
It started off very quickly.
Well, okay, so admittedly. Gosh, we always have our little moments for a Game Fest as to what was good, bad, ugly, different, what happens each time. This one, I advertised it all for the Friday night party initially, but that doesn't stop anybody from coming early. Thankfully, because most of us have normal jobs and stuff, and Campo actually did work a little bit, I think, on Thursday. You didn't show up until, what, like 1:30-ish or something like that?
It was pretty late.
Yeah, not the normal, I'm heading into work at 6, 7 in the morning and you're coming to the house already.
Yep. Yeah, that's typical. This time I actually had to go to work and do stuff.
So, yes, we did a little bit of that, so got the work thing going. Actually, let's see. I think that's partly what's going on is we have our voice. Oh, there it is. I'm going to get mine sexy, sultry as well. I was just noticing how we have my things are set up a little more for, like, increasing the depth of your voice.
Oh. Okay.
And so, like, here you can hear mine. All of a sudden, can be sexy, very white voice. And so
you just made me moist.
Yep. I'll back that off a little bit. I don't need that much bass, but I was wondering why all of a sudden it was like, why am I so tinny compared to Campo? There we go. All right, fixing the mixer board. Now we're good. But yes, so we're doing Game Fest. Thursday started out with us kind of getting together. Campo and oh, what's his gaming name?
Fallum?
Fallum, yes.
Yeah.
Campo and Fallum got together and decided to make another upgrade to the overall Game Fest experience. They went and grabbed a new air conditioner for the basement, which is good and has definitely been doing its job because this is another one of those summer Game Fests, and normally it'd be a bit toasty down here.
Yes, we've had Game Fest in the past in July where you could smell the gaming happening.
Smell what the gaming is cooking?
Yes. I think we were good this time. I think the temperatures stayed 75 down here.
It stayed comfortable the whole time.
Yeah.
Definitely having 2 air conditioner units dedicated to the basement helps, as well as the house one running.
F&A.
And extra fans and stuff kind of circulating air. So it actually stayed cooler down here than the rest of the house the entire weekend. Because it has been in the range of the mid-90s to 100 degrees all weekend outside in the Colorado weather.
It was 103 yesterday.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Definitely does not work well with our delicate gaming PCs that people like to overclock and things like that.
Right.
So, no, that's good. So, yeah, that was the first thing that happened. And along with that, as we were kind of getting things done, I went into work at like 4 in the morning on Thursday so I could get off in time to come and help participate and be here for everything. But we pleasant surprise on Thursday night when I don't even remember what time.
It was like 10:30 at night.
Was it?
Yeah.
So we're hanging out. There are a few of us here at the time. Not a ton, but a couple people had shown up earlier on Thursday, which was nice. A few people had gotten off work on Friday, so they decided to come in the pre-Game Fest day.
Right, and a pre-Game Fest day is usually very low-key, and typically 3 or 4 people.
Yeah, maybe. And we'll just play a game or two and kind of bounce back and forth.
This Thursday was not that.
No, it wasn't like full crazy Game Fest, but it was a solid showing of what did we have? Because we only had, what, total participation was under 20.
I actually don't know. I never counted.
I need to go back and look how many seats we filled because there are a few people that were interested in wanting to come first thing but didn't manage to make it this time.
Right.
Life got in the way. It does. And so we had a couple no-shows on it, which is okay. But overall, we had a decent showing Thursday night of people that all got together. What do we mostly play on Thursday?
Rainbow Six, I think, was a big...
Well, I think the number one game of the weekend was probably Rainbow Six, even though we had people kind of bouncing back and forth with whatever games they were playing.
Did we play SubCom?
We might have done a round of SubCom on Thursday, but I know we did some Rainbow Six.
Black Ops 2.
We did some Black Ops 2, but that was also because that was kind of like throwback.
Yeah.
Although, man, we were not as hot as we normally had been.
Well,
I guess of the last 80 people in the world that are playing Black Ops 2, maybe the ones who are pretty damn good at this point.
Well, and we were also, by the time we played Black Ops, we're 2/5 of Jameson into the night.
Yeah, 2 bottles of Jameson, some other drinks.
Dude, Thursday, again, so usually very low-key. I tied one on. I think a lot of us tied one on pretty hard Thursday.
I was feeling pretty good Thursday.
I mean,
there's that.
Wow.
Yeah, no, there's a lot going on with that.
We killed over the weekend 6 bottles of Jameson, 2 cases of craft beer.
Oh, wow. I got through half a bottle of Ron Zacapa rum by myself. Did a couple of those beers, some of the random ones there. Had some of the whiskey. So the fun part is I don't think I ever got really drunk.
Yeah.
For me, I was more tired than I was tipsy at any given point, but that's also because I didn't sleep at all.
Right.
Where normally at least I get like 4 hours sleep. This time life had too many things going on such that I didn't truly sleep. But so Thursday was big. The big thing that kind of capped us on Thursday is we had new guests.
Yes.
We had a new guest, and we had a returning guest that was, at least for me, unexpected.
Very unexpected for me as well.
And what this came from, and he's hiding over there in the corner playing, I think, Rainbow Six still, some Siege. Yeah. But Man with a Plan, if anyone who's been on the VTW gaming servers and had a chance to play with Invalid or Man with a Plan, he is in the room at Game Fest this weekend.
In person.
And that was one that apparently he and another compadre of ours decided to do some planning, which I admittedly appreciate the surprise.
Yeah.
And so not only did Invalid show up, because you knew you had to pick him up. You'd been talking to Man with a Plan to say that he was coming because he was out here in Colorado for other things as well, with family and things. But then actually coming out and having the laptop to be able to do Game Fest, which is very convenient. Yeah. But then we're sitting here gaming, all of a sudden, over my shoulder as the door opens up, a Wild Paws 42 or 2142 shows up out of Pittsburgh.
Flew in from Pittsburgh, basically just for Game Fest.
Yes.
And Did not tell anybody other
No,
than Man with a
the
Plan.
rat bastard.
Yeah.
Like,
No idea he was showing up.
this is our boy.
Yeah.
We've been gaming for years. The FAC.
Yeah.
And just did not.
Yeah, it was awesome.
No, so he did a good job. He completely surprised the hell out of us.
Yeah.
Turned around and was just like, what?
Yeah.
What? Pause. So that was really, really cool to be able to have Pause here gaming with us as well. Honestly, the advantage of having gaming laptops so prevalent around because it's so much easier. Yeah, it's a plane flight out and such, but not having to pack like a monitor and a full rig and just being able to come out with a bag.
I gotta be honest, I'm a little jealous of some of these gaming laptops I've seen. I'm like, that would just be easier for Game Fest.
Oh,
I'm only
completely.
like 3 miles away, and I'm still kind of like,
Yeah, right? Well, I
Like-
mean, because we dedicate, and so it's one
Yeah.
thing to bring your entire rig for essentially 3 or 4 days. That's not so bad. And we used to, back when I was
Yeah.
military and we did LAN parties,
The
we used to do it for a
CRTs.
day, right? There were times I'd go over to like Shady's house and Yergi's house, and we'd do tribes all damn day, but we'd start at like a Friday night, do all day Saturday, and we're done.
Yeah.
You know, Sunday morning, it wasn't even then. Like, whenever you finished gaming Saturday into Sunday morning, you left. And so, yeah, hauling around 70-pound CRTs and gaming boxes and stuff like that was a pain. It's easier now, but even then, you see the gaming laptops, and it's just like, takes no thought.
right.
You know, I need to double check how old my Lenovo is because it's got an old it's dual 750s and an SLI.
750s?
Yeah, NVIDIA 750s, man. Time.
That's, Grandpa.
Well,
breakfast card.
it'll play LOL.
Yeah.
I don't know what else it'll play, but it's been servicing for great time for like a con show rig. So it's been able to be a show rig as long as I've needed it, but still, it's like, whew. So I kind of keep looking at it. At some point, I should probably upgrade that.
Well, Hello Kitty Island Adventure will probably run pretty good on it.
It still does.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
lower the textures a little bit.
Yeah.
Not as much anti-aliasing.
Probably turn off the shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it just you only
Yeah.
need sprites. It's okay. So, but did get it running. So Pause came. We have Man with a Plan here, and then the smattering between Kuro's here. Campette, who
Yeah.
admittedly whole different experience for the first time having Campette here now that she's got a driver's license.
It's nice. It's very convenient for me.
Well, the one
Yeah.
moment, especially, what was it, Saturday, like early morning, afternoonish, where it was like, so,
How about some tacos?
you said you were going to go get Slurpees at 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
While you're out,
Yep.
how about you get like 40 tacos and some,
Yeah.
sodas and such?
Yeah. She went on a food run for us. That was pretty nice.
That was
Yeah.
that was convenient. The beauty of having people grow up in Game Fest,
Right.
because I think there were several people who commented about like how long Campette's been coming.
It's been a
She's
while.
trying to throw things on the floor as she's heard her name
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, just put that
Invoking
anywhere.
coming over.
Yeah.
See, that means I need to probably turn on this mic here.
Gotta make sure you give her a nice deep voice.
Yeah, put her on the man voice. She puts on the cans to join us here on the show. But yeah, a lot of Campette's now been coming to Game Fest for what, 5-ish years? Because you're what?
5 years with computers.
Hey,
You gotta talk in
the
mic
voice
then.
part's here. Yeah, the part so we can hear you,
Yeah.
like on the show. You'll be able to hear yourself. It makes it really easy. Yeah, you can try talking.
Now she doesn't want to talk.
I know, now that I called her out.
Yeah.
So, because it's been at least 5 years,
At least.
but looking back, regardless, just the idea, because we've had a few people grow up at Game Fest with
Yeah.
LAN parties and such, because you're 17 now, so that would have put you at like 12 years old or something around there when you first started coming here and gaming.
Yeah.
And you've been a pretty solid, I would say, fixture since.
Well, yeah, it's like Kadigmon's son
Oh, yeah.
grew up in Game Fest.
Yeah, when,
Yeah.
oh gosh, what's his latest gaming name? What was the one we always gave him crap for? Invisible Pretender?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
No,
Invisible Pretender's his name on Steam, and we used to get him for being like, dude, why do you have such a creeper name? What are you doing, dude? What's up with that? He'd get so mad because we're just like, why
Yeah.
you got to be like that?
Yeah, that's probably why he stopped coming.
Well, that and what did he do? He joined the military essentially
Yeah,
and went
he's
off and
Off
into
living
the world.
life. Yeah.
And you grow them up and then send them out into the world. What's that about? We got this one for like what, maybe a year before it's going to be time to do the same.
Yeah, she's going to try to get the academies.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
doing that whole senior year thing, high school, like whoa.
Yeah.
So, congrats on that. But yes, also joining with Game Fest. And you brought a friend this weekend.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
done this a few times. It's kind of
Another
interesting because
first-timer.
normally we'd have, and I don't know if your one gal friend, if she has a gamer name that we'd use instead, but
Animated.
Call it
So
Faith.
Papyrus. When she's come a few times where she'd either just hang out and kind of do art or, a little bit of gaming back and forth. I was kind of surprised not to see her this weekend because she had been a fixture for the last several.
That's true.
But instead you brought your new friend, and God, what was his gamer name?
Max Nightingale. No.
That is not how it's written.
MPG Max.
So, okay, Max.
Yeah.
But it was his first time coming gaming, and he's, what, a freshman in high school? Something like that. He's younger than you.
He is younger.
Although tall guy with long hair, so it was
Right.
kind of hard to tell.
Right.
And carried himself surprisingly well. I
did.
give him credit, because this is one where, as we get new people to come to Game Fest, thankfully, people check with me, and they're kind of like, hey. And so La Campette was kind of saying, hey, is it all right if I bring my friend Max? And I was like, is it vetted? Did you talk to his parents? Do they know what Game Fest is? You know, because, I mean, it's chill for the most part, but at the same time, you get exposed, because you never know who's going to be cussing in the corner at some event in a game. And I don't know his parents. I wanted to at least be cognizant of that.
Well, apparently his parents did raise a little bit of a stink, coming back at 1:32 in the morning, and then leaving to come back to Game Fest at like 6:37 in the morning.
One of those things
Yeah.
where they don't really know, like, nobody really understands or comprehends what Game Fest truly turns into.
Right.
Because where it's like, no, this is a weekend commitment.
Yeah, I would say we spent a total of 6 hours away from Game Fest this whole
we
weekend.
still, man. What? Hey, thank you for the feedback. Let me just drop this completely, I guess.
What's going on with it?
Oh, so the challenge is there's a point where to do a noise gate, it kind of makes it so that if it gets too quiet, the mics will shut off, that where you're not hearing background. But in doing so, apparently it's doing enough that it was bouncing a little bit, so I turned that down further. So now we're basically just on.
Okay.
So you're going to hear all the fans and people in the background now, everybody, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's well, we can turn some of the fans off, I suppose.
No, we're fine. No,
Yeah.
Server, all the computers,
Yeah.
me hitting my headphone against the microphone here. So,
Yeah.
all that. Well, so the other challenge, like in doing technology news in Show X, is I had gotten all these cost cans for a while back when I decided to make it universal so we could all hear each other and stuff beautifully. I, at the time, had been using my nice Logitech, was it the 935s or the wireless
Those are good.
headphones, because they have an extra adapter that lets you plug directly into a 2.5 millimeter mic connection. Perfect. Except that for whatever reason it would come through, I couldn't hear myself. It like came through where the mono channel something was screwing around because they're surround sound speaker or headphones. Yeah. So I decided to go out and get another set of nicer headphones just for me. So I'm the show host, so I had to be a little different.
yeah,
Where these
yeah.
are like $20 cans. This is like a $60 can. But so now I can finally listen to everything with everyone else. Yay! So
Nice,
that'll be
nice.
consistent and good. And Copy says, I'm okay with background noise. Yeah, it's Game Pass. You can hear all the rest. When I get back to the office, I'll make sure it's cleaned up better than that. But that was the other thing. When I'm coming down with my rig, I made sure not to bring down my new monitor, since that thing's a 56-inch 4K behemoth that weighs 110 pounds. So
110 pounds, yeah.
Instead, I'm using what used to be my side wing monitors for my old setup when I had 3
Right.
as my main and secondary monitor. So I think I'm going to just be able to leave these down here
Yeah.
and keep the other ones upstairs. Although I noted, because so many games I've re-optimized upstairs for 4K experience, I've done 4K resolution, stuff like that, even though the desktops on these now running at 19 by 10, the games were still set for 4K.
Huh.
And they ran. And so something tells me they're doing the scaling thing where it's processing 4K pixels but only showing the 19
Yeah.
by 10, which is what people do is when they call it super sampling, basically, because it can make it better than anti-aliasing kind of thing because you're actually rendering it. But that was a bit unintentional in general, but that was a little thing I did as well. Again, constantly trying to figure out and adjust how we do things. So, okay, Thursday was fun. We played the heck out of stuff. We had drinks. We had, like I said, Rainbow Six was a bit of it. I tried playing a little bit of 0K, but we never did that online. It's a free one out there, by the way, for anyone. It's from Valve. It's basically Supreme Commander Lite.
Yeah.
Or slightly faster, but still kind of the whole RTS thing. But it's free 99, so it's the perfect.
Price is right.
Yep. So people can check that out.
Yep.
But
We finished some booze. All in all, we finished a case of whiskey this weekend, which
that's pretty good.
well, and it was just steady drinking.
Oh, well,
Like,
so
you
that's the
know?
thing, right? We didn't get blitzed. It's not
No.
like we spent any time this weekend crushing so much alcohol that it was just like, I'm out. I'm
Right.
done. You know? No one threw up.
We were at marathon pace.
Yeah,
that's what
this,
it was.
this is definitely more we got a long weekend ahead of us. Let's just keep it going.
Yeah.
And so we did that. What other things? I made my cheese dip again. So really, as we transition, so Friday was where Game Fest really starts.
Yep.
We had things going through the morning. People were gaming throughout, but I did process and transition things somewhere around 4 or 5 in the afternoon because I'd set it up for the gaming night, which tends to be non-downstairs focused. Rock Band, as I put a separate invite out for Game Fest, which is Rock Band and board games, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
A little different setup and vibe because I still have CMI's garment printer running out of the dining room, so I don't have the dining room table to game on. Thankfully, Kadigma brought over another folding table that we set up upstairs for people to game on, as well as we had the main room where we set up Rock Band. I got mic stands this time for Rock Band, so people, which we've done before when other people had brought their sets.
Right.
But now with mine, it works out really. It's just something about having a mic stand makes it a lot easier just to walk up and start singing than trying to find the mic on the floor or something like that. So that was nice. But yeah, got in that, had another treat that happened to work out. And this started Thursday, but it really turned into the Friday where it happened, was we also had another old guest of Game Fest come by, one who doesn't actually do any of the video gaming with us.
Yes.
But still likes to host and do wonderful things that we all appreciate. And that was Matt Tasty Meats
Woods.
Yeah, joined us. And so people who have heard stories about Tasty Meats, he came out and we had talked about pre-plan where he had to be out here for work anyways at some point. So I worked with him to say, well, if there was a time that you could choose to come out to Denver for work, you might look at this week. Because if so, and they're flying you here anyways, if you stayed the weekend, you could come play with us at Game Fest. Which he was like, oh? And made that work. And so was able to both work and play in the same trip.
Yeah, we had a lot of old faces this Game Fest.
It was interesting. Well, it was an interesting blend because we had old faces, but we also had some people that were staples that we didn't have that I kind of missed out on. But it was a good smattering. As far as being a slightly smaller one. And I still had it compromised slightly because I have 3D printers in the back of the room and stuff. So there's a back wall that's off. But that's really only, what, like 5 or 6 spots from the max 30-something
Yeah, I would
we
say
can
about
run.
6, yeah.
So I took those out, but I was able to clean up and reprocess the rest of it, so we still had the back wall there, which was nice. We did some other little tweaks with it where, like I said, I don't have 3 monitors here, so there's a little more room, although no one sat next to me. That because Campette brought a friend, we decided to move them away from you for the first time in however long.
She is so loud when she games. I swear, I still...
The enthusiasm of youth.
Man,
Youths.
The youths. Yeah,
Because,
it came to the point where we can't even hear our own games on our own headphones from across the room.
Because they're playing something like Prop Hunt or
they're
what's
playing
this
like Stick Figure Fighter.
Stick Fighter or whatever that one
Trouble
is.
in Terrorist Town.
Those things.
Yeah.
These games I don't know what they are, but apparently they bring out the rambunctiousness of youth, and so they have a lot of commentary to go along with it, which to us sounds like a whole lot of screeching and screaming.
Yeah, a lot. No words.
Yeah, just noises.
Yeah.
With high emphasis.
Yeah.
So to help for that, we actually stuck them kind of straight in the back part of the room here, not necessarily by themselves, but somewhat segregated, which I think actually worked out well.
We might have to wrap them in egg crate or something next time.
Just get the rest of any of my foam, noise canceling around, just to build a little space around for the youths.
Yeah, we'll put them in a plexiglass box.
It'll be kind of like the non-smoking area in a bingo hall.
Right.
Where you walk in and they have like a whole plexiglass booth in the back that you put the non-smokers. Do that for anyone under 20 years old. They have to sit in the box.
You sit over here.
But it worked out because you got to play, and if you're following on Twitch, you could have seen La Campette streaming on VTW La Campette with several games from everything from Terraria to, like I said, Prop Hunt. What were some of the games you and Max specifically played or kind of went through?
Stick Fight, Trouble in Terrorist Town. We did do some Terraria. I think that's about it because his computer can't run too much.
Well, here's another one who brought a laptop, made it super easy. And honestly, that's one of the better things. I do appreciate those that have gaming laptops because it becomes a bit of spillover.
Yeah.
And so I can put a gaming laptop anywhere on wireless and go have fun. Just works. It's so easy.
Exactly.
And so did that. So that's good. That's kind of the list of some of the things you did. You also participated in some of Supreme Commander. I know that.
Yep.
Beyond that, were there any other group games that you kind of played with this weekend?
Call of Duty.
Yeah, you played Black Ops 2 with us.
Oh, yeah, some Black Ops 2.
Yep.
I think that might have been the main ones that you kind of joined with us in as you guys were playing your stuff. I believe you're also still interacting with some of your friends outside of Game Fest. Otherwise, I don't think there would have been nearly as many screeches and stuff going on back there.
That's probably true. Yeah.
So that happened. But no, Tasty Meats came. He spent a day and a half marinating some chicken for us, some dry rubs on some chicken wings. which I think everybody universally agreed were phenomenal.
I enjoyed those wings.
Yeah, it was something
they
like
were really good.
I had to pre-warn people because the Friday night party, I told them, like, if you did Saturday, yeah, we'd crush them, but Friday you're going to have more participation. And he had mentioned to me ahead of time, like, well, get as many wings as you can. So I went to Sam's Club. I got 6 of the frozen packs of, like, Tyson's wings or something like that, which translated to somewhere near 100 wings of these big, meaty, full-size, not like little BS wings.
Oh, yeah, they were.
No, those are wing tips. Those wing tips that are left still in the fridge are specifically for making, like, chicken stock. And bone broth, essentially. Well, because they do have meat on them, but they're not up to the standard of what Tasty Meat serves his guests. And so he cut out all the wingtips and saved them in the fridge for me.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, no, he's good for that. He's a great chef / grill master.
Huh.
But he came out as well, which is I knew, but other people was a surprise. And we all got together on Friday night for the general gaming, which is Rock Band and board games, as I advertised it. It's also the time when a lot of people, and you should know this by now, we do this every 3-4 months, where people can bring other friends to be introduced to what Game Fest can be and just generally kind of having a random party for fun, which was good. And that one actually had a really surprising amount of participation.
A lot of new faces.
Yeah, I know that, like, Tromad had a friend that is new to town that brought along, that Tromad's wife had come out as well, and she made a German chocolate cake that was really nice.
That was good.
Our friend John Wasik and his wife came out, and we're promoting his newest book he just got a proof of Orc Wars, and kind of going through that, showing people a lot of stuff going on like that. I also need to, like, I should probably have the samples down here, because at the same time, even though it takes up space and they weren't gaming with us, CMI was also in the background doing some work, because they have big shirt orders they're constantly working on.
Yeah.
But one of the things they also showed, because they now have access and figured out their die sublimation printer, we had a combination of them finally printing some mouse pads.
Yes, the VTW mouse pad turned out really well.
Really looks nice.
Really good.
Yeah, and eventually as they get to the bigger sizes, they're going to get things that are closer to gaming mats, but not quite there yet. So, and I haven't talked to them to see what they're selling the pads for. I'd actually have to ask Fallon, I think, because he got a, what was it, Duke Nukem 3D.
Old school Duke Nukem.
Yeah, old one cover art kind of mouse pad that looked phenomenal. But it came out really good. So they were doing that, and they also were making some shirts. In fact, Campette is sporting one that she has, if you just like stand up and look that way. Part of her artwork she has for a character, and actually this is a cosplay that we've been working on for a year now, of stuff, but one of her pictures they did for her, like, on the spot, advantage of having a DTG printer.
And that's pretty cool, because that's actually Campette's hand-drawn.
Yeah, her artwork.
Yeah, and they printed her drawing onto a shirt.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
So if you're ever interested, go to Color Me Impressed Fashion Printing on Facebook, and they're more than happy to work with you. Don't pimp it out as much as you can, but it's something they're willing to work with anybody if you have some special artwork. But they were doing that during that as well, because I know a couple people finally got delivery of their actual VTW shirts.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why Paws actually came out.
His whole reason of coming was just to get his own shirt in person versus delivered.
Reverse delivery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he did that. Psycho got his.
Yeah, and Valid got his.
And so, and then they made. Some people, I think, were working on some other custom shirts doing that, which is kind of cool as well, just to walk away with some swag. They were also working on, but I think they're still dialing in some coasters for the VTW face and stuff, because expect to see that face everywhere.
Some beer coasters, that would be nice.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, so they could do koozies, too.
Oh.
Just as a thought. They could do a koozie.
Now, I think you're in my market now.
Right?
Yeah.
I told them to always show you whatever the product was, because we tend to go like, yeah, I want that.
Yeah.
So we need to get stickers, some other things. So yeah, some VTW swag as well. So that was all fun. What's interesting is like the Rock Band. Some people actually showed up a little earlier than I expect. Mm-hmm. Like at 4, if not like at 5. Like, oh hi, as we were still setting up, like getting drinks and food and snacks together. I made my cheese dip and such, and got the chips and things. Our good friends Patrick and Jamie showed up. They're staples, which is always fun because they don't drink, but they love to come to Rock Band and kind of hang out. And this time they teased it, but then they got busy on Saturday. But they were going to bring their PCs. I'd actually set up the table back here for them because they're both gamers. And so they've been coming to Game Fest for years now, but have never had PCs to actually game on.
Oh, okay.
And so this time they were tempted to, and they had it set up, and then last minute they're like, oh, we can't. We got this other thing we got to do. So close. But I thought that would have been a blast. Let's see. Was this Tromad's second Game Fest?
Yeah. This is his second.
Fallon was like second, I think.
No, it was like his 4th.
Oh, is it Fallon's 4th?
Yeah, he's been coming to Game Fest for.
I always forget because there's certain couple groups that have got in and out and been more so. Also with the Friday night party, we had Fork show up because
Yeah.
she usually works weekends, and so she had to work and then came in late. She came in. We also had.
We want to
God.
talk about someone coming in late.
Which one? Oh, over here?
Yeah.
Coming in late, meaning showing up Sunday morning just before the show,
Yeah.
and then having issues on their PC so they can't actually game because for some reason their PC and my network just don't get along.
Yeah. Don't know why.
Yeah, it's really frustrating, actually. And so instead what we have is we have Brock Sampson in the room here just playing. I don't know what he's even playing
have
now.
no idea what
on
that
his
game
own.
is.
Something that requires no internet because we're in this weird problem, which if anybody has an answer for, it's he can get on the internet and see things, but he has no upload at
Yeah.
all. And so none of the game servers will connect. Like, it says he's online and does stuff, but he can't actually get anything to upload to the internet. We have no idea what's causing that. Bizarre. But yeah, he showed up the latest. And then, like many, we had several, because Psycho and, Crimson both
Yeah.
already took off. Which is
Yeah.
normally the thing I joke about. As soon as the microphone's set up, people are running for the hills.
Yeah, it's like they get scared of the mics.
They might be seen or something.
Yeah.
Oh, so another thing on Thursday that actually made others come out of the woodworks is because Paws had showed up and took some shots. The guy said, "Look who's here."
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Unit decided he needed to make his happy ass over here faster.
Yeah.
It's,
Shows up at 6 a.m. or something.
right. Yeah. It's something middle of
Yeah.
night,
Yeah.
which is funny because I think he was the one that was locked out. Because normally when I do Game Fest, it's kind of because there's people everywhere. We'll just leave the front door open for
Yeah.
the weekend, and because there's people who sleep in the front room and stuff like that. So there's always somebody gatekeeping. But that was one of the few times. I think it was mostly because Kuro was up there and didn't really think about it. It's like, it's like 3 a.m. Nobody's gonna be here. Locks door. So he was having to bust his way in here, like 5 or 6 of the board to like come in and take care of that.
That's funny.
So that was good fun. But yeah, Friday night was a blast. Rock Band went for quite some time. They
Yeah.
played some. What were some of the board games? I know they played a lot of my Joking Hazard game.
I think Munchkin got played.
No, I don't think it was Munchkin. They
No?
did play. They played. No, the other big one was because.
Was it Munchkin?
No, because and I forget his gamer name, but Logan brought. God, I should know his gamer name. I have it on there. Shoot, but he brought Secret Hitler.
Oh,
Which is another one they played a lot. So another great one is a lot of people, a couple friends of mine from work showed up as well. Some of our Ferners. So the Aussies showed up. And I didn't have any of the Brits. Mostly it was all Aussies who showed up, including a new gal who's just going to start working with us. So her first introduction to me was Game Fest.
Oh.
We'll see how that translates in the office later
Yeah.
in the year. She actually starts working on the team.
Yeah.
Hopefully it wasn't the worst experience there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that went well, and the singing went all night. The gaming went most night. A lot of people just hanging out and kind of sharing. And again, wings were
Yeah,
amazing.
I would
food in
say the
general.
Rock Band lasted at least till 2:30
Oh,
in
it
the
went
morning.
longer than many had.
Yeah.
Although I have like always a. It's not constant. I don't know what I would call it, but I feel like there's certain songs that cannot be played like they're played too early. If that makes any sense.
Bohemian Rhapsody's
yes.
by that
Yes.
one. Yeah.
It's just something about Game Fest where you shouldn't
Yeah.
play Bohemian Rhapsody before like everyone is 3 sheets to the wind and it's like before midnight.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. I was coming up something and I heard it. I heard it in the background like, wait, is this Bohemian Rhapsody? Why are you playing this when it's like before 9 o'clock and people aren't drunk?
Oh,
no.
man.
Play all the other Queen before then.
Right.
So there's that. Yeah, Kuro, why are you hanging off Mike in the corner there when you're not even gaming? That's BS. Come up here and take up Campette's seat. Since she got bored with us, since we're not talking specifically to her. So,
Yeah. That's women.
kids. She got bored, ran
Yeah.
away. There he is. Look, we have a wild Kuro who joined us.
Let's see if we can't get Invalid over here too. Hey, Invalid.
Yeah, there's an opportunity for Invalid to actually be
Come
on
on.
show.
We want to hear about your.
You're not on mic, I can't hear you.
We want to hear about your first experience in Game Fest, Invalid.
Yes, it is always fun to get a fresh perspective from people who haven't been through this nonsense before.
So we've been gaming with Invalid for the better part of a decade.
Has it been that long? I know
it-
because we picked it
yeah.
up through Black Ops or something in
It
there.
was one of the Call of Duties.
Yeah,
might be
I
the-
want to say it was 2. I didn't think it was 3.
But it was. I mean, it was before we even formed the Versus the World gaming clan, like the gaming part of it. Like it was still VTW Productions.
Yeah, VTW's been a thing, but
Yeah, but what clan? It was Anti-Hat Clan.
Well, that was his,
the
right?
initial.
Because you guys were bouncing
Yeah.
around between clans.
Yeah, me and Paws were bouncing around a
Yeah, because
lot.
we hadn't been played much. Because I
Yeah.
remember Anti-Hack,
Yeah.
which is interesting. And then they kind of where people have been playing. There was some drama over in one of those, and then people started coming together and saying, "Well, we
Yeah.
want to play with others." So they started playing with us, and so we all picked up, my VTW tag.
Yeah.
And that's been since.
Yeah. Yep.
And so so talk about old school.
Yeah, and
Kinda-
the first time we've met in person is this weekend because of Game Fest.
It is amazing how that happens with the whole gaming community. I think that's
Yeah.
stuff I would actually love to kind of hear those stories from others out there, like email in or something, just talking about kind of things where you've been gaming with people for years that you either just still haven't met, or the opportunity when you finally did, and what happened with that.
Right. I mean, because you're obviously good enough friends, you guys keep gaming together. But I had no idea what it even looked like.
Oh no! And these
Like-
are stories you hear constantly, right? Where I've gamed with someone for years. We did all these amazing adventures.
Yeah.
No idea what you look like, and maybe
Yeah.
have a half inkling to where you may live. Kind of
Right.
thing.
Right.
And so, because I always jokingly say that when I start with Game Fest, a lot of the people that I ended up playing with here, they weren't people I worked with. They were all just like Game Fest people.
Right.
And so I didn't know any of their real names for like years, almost like 5 years in some cases.
Well, that's actually hilarious too. Yeah, I didn't know his real name until like 3 weeks ago.
I think I still don't officially. Like I may have
Yeah.
heard it, but it hasn't registered as a real thing yet.
Yeah. Oh, because I was like, I had to get his real name so I could
Look
get his
at who-
phone number and look. Oh yeah, I had to get his invite on the Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, to actually get the invites.
Yeah.
How many people actually use their real names around here?
Well, so the longer we've been around, it happens because you
Yeah.
start to actually know people. But for me, there were some people that was almost a decade before I ever learned what their real name was. Well, because we respond, right? If someone
Yeah.
calls, well, so enough so that we respond to our nicknames and our gaming names that when they're playing Rainbow Six and I'm not with them and they're talking about having a doc on the team,
Yeah.
I'm sitting like, what? What am I doing?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so things like that.
You just got to start playing, Doc. Yeah.
That would probably work out.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it just happened with that as well. And so similar addition when you get someone new like Invalidin. But yeah, so Friday was a blast. Met some new people, new faces. I think as far as I heard back, everyone had a good time. So
Yeah.
that's always good.
I think this was again one of the better Game Fests. We had all the older school people were here.
Yep.
We all gamed together. It was very chill, very nice.
So that was the interesting
Yeah.
thing, right? It's been raucous, and I heard some commentary from my roommates who've only, I think, been to really one or two of the Game Fest, but had never lived here during a Game Fest, where they were commenting like, wow, that was quite the party. I was like, well, it was fine, but it really was actually kind of chill.
We never, nothing ever got out of control
was-
at
it
this
was-
one.
Yeah, no, I mean, nobody whipped out their belt and swung it around.
The belt,
Nobody was
yeah.
like, nobody was running down the outside hallways or anything like
Your
that.
door didn't get
Nobody
frozen?
threw up on my door. I mean, it really was pretty mild by comparison to
Yeah.
previous ones we've hosted. But at the same time, it was just a really good time. A lot of
Yes.
fun had. So it was interesting hearing that kind of feedback where they were like, man, that was quite the party. I was like, it was okay. I mean, it was fun, but it's not like it was a massive party.
No.
I've had ones here where we've had 60 plus people up there on Friday night.
We've been elbows to assholes in here before.
Yes,
no,
we have.
No question.
So again, it was chill, and that was actually kind of a good theme for this whole one. The whole thing was mostly just chill, but it worked out well. I had a little bit of strife, because I host. I'm always all over the place. I didn't actually play any of the board games, which happens a lot. I did play games, but I always rock band.
Well, yeah.
I always rock band.
Got a rock band.
And it's terrible because I kind of wish sometimes I would just record the whole process more because I know I hear myself and I think maybe I'm not Terabad all the time, but at the same time I see others' reactions, so I think I am
You've got the voice
Terabad.
of an angel.
No. Just like when I've sing Happy Birthday on the show and people are like, stop.
I think that song is supposed to be sung badly.
I try though.
Like, I
It's
don't-
weird.
I don't-
Well, okay, we do
yeah.
the Marilyn Monroe
Yeah.
version.
Right.
Because
Right.
admittedly, and I can actually do this today, and normally, it depends on who we have in. I can send out 3 happy birthday wishes today for the cosplay community that all came up on my social media this weekend. Because photographer Tofu Snow, Mizuki, and Jinx all have birthdays today that they share. And so, even though they're not listening, it gives me an opportunity just to show yet again why I should not sing to anybody. And because it's one of those where we give them the nice Marilyn Monroe version of the Happy Birthday, Mr. President of Happy Birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you. So, yeah, to all 3 of you, happy birthday today. But yeah, that kind of thing. It was bad too because yeah, there are other things going on with Friday. Partly lost a roommate this weekend at the same time.
Yeah.
Hide My Air has left the building. And so she and a couple friends have moved in with each other, and so she was moving out during Game Fest, and kind of a random, like, bam, all at once thing where it just kind of caught right away. And so that was taking place at the same time. A little bit of a challenge in general, but I think it worked out okay. And then, but so with that, there was some me, like, distracted there trying to help with parts, which for the most part was okay, except that when I finally was done, like, ready to turn in, went and was like, oh, snap, gone. Like, everything gone. I think the only remnants now of her being here is in the back corner there with sewing machine and some prop things. You know, and maybe switch upstairs.
And a computer.
Well, yeah, the computer, because the intent was that she was going to participate in Game Fest and then got stuck in with both too much Job 3 or whatever, I guess officially now Job 2 with CMI, having big shirt orders having to get done in very short time frames, and so thus she never actually has time off, as well as then moving and stuff, so never actually made it to her computer, I think.
So, so you upgraded your PC during Game Fest.
Oh, yes.
So
Oh, yeah. What technology things did we do this time?
So the tradition continues with a PC open heart surgery every Thursday.
Yeah, it was fun.
Well, at least
Yeah.
it was Thursday before things got too much, and
Yeah.
yours wasn't...
Thankfully, it didn't
nothing was
bleed
broken,
on me.
right? It wasn't broken
No.
so much as you just decided it was time for a better experience.
Yes. A
And-
much better experience.
And-
So this
luckily-
is actually I'd like to talk about
They're
this.
cheaper now, right? I mean, the GPUs, the prices have come down to a reasonable level.
Well,
yeah, nobody's
back to normal,
mining
basically.
coins
Right.
with them anymore.
Yay!
so-
Thank
Right.
goodness for all the what is it officially called blockchain mining stuff to
Well,
have
the ASIC
died.
miners,
Yeah.
they finally have dedicated boxes that can actually mine these Ethereum coins now.
Huh.
So people don't actually have to use
Run
video
GPU,
cards.
yeah,
Yeah.
GPU based mining rigs.
So they're not buying up all the graphics cards anymore.
You can
which is
find
nice.
like all the different brand of graphic cards and all the different levels on store shelves again.
Yeah, all we need
Yeah.
now is RAM to come back to normal.
Yes,
Oh,
RAM
yeah.
is still retarded.
RAM is so expensive.
That should be happening soon, I think.
But you got
The
yourself
market-
a 1080 Ti, right?
Yeah.
How you
So
liking it?
wait. We got to
Oh.
put this in order because
Okay.
when you got here, I wasn't fully comprehending like why the need for a change. So what was it that kind of sparked the need to stop by the candy store Thursday afternoon?
Because I wanted a new video card.
But why?
My current video cards kind of don't run the smoothest on a lot of new games.
So video cards, you say?
Two
So
of them.
So what were you running?
Two of the AMD R9 Fury cards, which were the 980 Ti equivalents quite a few years ago now. It's actually been a long time.
Yeah.
You see, it's funny because I always have to check when I say that when it comes to anything gaming or technology related. Because in my mind, like even my laptop, I'm like, that thing's got to be like a decade old, right?
Oh, it's scary how fast
No,
the stuff still moves.
it's not.
Yeah.
But it feels that way because
Well-
the way technology improves.
Well, 980 Ti's are still reasonable cards.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 980s are solid.
Yeah.
Well, the problem I have is the 3440 by 1440 resolution.
So 4K.
there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And running that on my old video cards, not the smoothest thing in the world.
See,
Now it's like butter.
I was gonna say, so part of this, it was just entertaining for me for multiple reasons. One, because Kuro falls into my camp of those who have for quite some time praised the accolades of all things AMD, especially as a counter to many things, both Intel and
Sure.
NVIDIA.
I've still used Intel for the
Oh,
last.
you're not as hardcore as others, I know.
But
But I will just say I was surprised when you had mentioned you had decided to get something new, and that when that new thing wasn't an AMD card.
Right.
because there are no really good AMD cards.
So one thing I would keep your guys' eyes out, and everyone's listening as well, graphics cards will continue to plummet in price. Because
Why is that exactly? I think Kuro, you had brought something up about that metric.
Yeah.
NVIDIA has something like 300,000 of the GPU chips
The actual,
sitting in
basically,
a warehouse.
the 10 series GPU chips.
Yeah.
Because the market for Bitcoin had gone so high, they cranked out as many possible raw chips as their factories could produce.
Yes.
And to their credit, they were trying to get GPUs to gamers. That
They
was
were.
their
They were
main goal.
actually trying to
So-
get them out there. But in doing so, they're now sitting with a surplus.
Yep.
And it's at the exact same time, though, that people are now looking for an 11 series card to come out from them.
Yes.
And I think that's still quite a ways off because of their massive surplus.
Well, that's the challenge,
Yeah.
right? It's kind of the in-between of we have so many cards that we still need to produce and get out there. Why would we release new technology? Now, I have thoughts on that.
I was almost thinking they would release the 11 series with the same chipset, maybe with just more memory.
Well, but that's a problem is you have to do something to designate it because more memory
Yeah.
would be something, and or you'd have to overclock the heck out of it. But normally you
Yeah.
want to see some level of feature creep, something new, be it a new
We guys saw the 1180 is supposed to have 64 gigs of memory.
64.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's going to have like 16.
I was gonna say
No.
16 sounds more right. Like a Titan, I could see doing that.
No, it's the
Because what are the
1180
current-
Ti.
Well, what are the current Titans at? They're
Yeah.
like the top, and they're at.
32.
Are they at 32
Yep.
each?
Yeah. The 11.
God, that's dumb.
Yeah, I read an article. 1180 Ti supposedly is going to have 64 gigs,
So here's the thing: could
which is
they?
more than my PC.
Well, let's say, could they? Yes, and would the cost be insane? Not necessarily when it comes to RAM, but they are also
Yeah.
pushing DDR5 minimum now.
Yep.
And they're already looking at-
GDDR6.
They're already looking
TIs.
at the 6 to see what they could do next, which is basically more bandwidth for memory. I don't know if it's holographic or what.
It looks like the feed may have stalled.
Oh, and there I'm not as worried as
Oh,
long as
okay.
that's still streaming, and as long as my people
Yeah, the
give me
chat's
feedback.
not complaining.
Well,
Okay.
the problem with that is in the browser.
Yeah.
Sometimes the little update for the browser gets like, what?
Oh, for
What am I
sure.
doing? So as long as y'all can still hear us and yell and scream if things go bad, but yes. So now Kuro's now sitting on the top of the market
Yeah.
NVIDIA line of a 1080 Ti.
Yeah, it's nice.
And you say compared to two AMD R9
So,
series?
and I ran benchmarks of 3D Mark Firestrike, and actually, believe it or not, the old cards did, with everything wildly overclocked, like edge out the 1080 Ti just by a little bit
In
3D Mark.
as a whole, like a top number or specific
Yeah, as
tests?
a whole, not just the graphics benchmark on its own, but the combined score. So, and that's with my CPU overclocked to like 4.7 gigahertz. So now it's sitting lower. So I need to tweak it again and then run the benchmark. But
Well, so
So-
I chuckle though because it's going from a dual card solution to a single
and
card
that's
solution.
the crazy part. Yeah, because the two cards before were stupid fast. Like I could run Doom in 4K on those AMD cards with Vulkan and hit like 140 frames a second in 4K,
Nice.
which was amazing. Now I can do that with a single card, which the important thing is only like 10% of the games out there support SLI and Crossfire.
So that's kind of the key. When people start talking about what can you do with multiple cards, because we've all run multiple card situations at some point, right?
Yeah.
We have all run either Crossfire, or I've run both Crossfire and SLI at different times in my history.
Yep.
And I am now permanently in the mindset of F getting multiple cards. I'm just going to get the best single card solution I can.
The only time I do multiple cards these days is to have one. I'll use my older card
As a dedicated,
physics
yeah,
drive.
either
Yeah.
a PhysX card or
Yeah.
well, because that 7 series one that I have in here right now, it's running that monitor. While
Yeah.
the 1080 is running this one because when I move it back upstairs, the 1080 runs the 4K rig,
Right.
and the other one runs my other monitor. And so at that point, it's great because you're not gaming across. I'm just using them as truly separate video cards, and that's actually pretty damn
That
efficient.
works pretty damn. Yeah.
Well, if you do like CUDA workloads with it, like for Adobe software and other stuff, you can actually use all your CUDA cores combined together for workloads.
Nice.
So that's kind of cool.
So yeah, we're actually maximizing performance on just the overall experience there. But so no, I did have to bring that up because I have so many friends who are still kind of fanboys when it comes to certain brands, and admittedly I am too. But I'm pretty branded on like Intel and Nvidia. I don't know if it's a bad thing that mine are usually the more expensive, but also kind of the industry leaders. You know, I'm only running right 60. Am I running a 6700 chip? I think for my processor on this. But it's basically the top end 6 series. I don't think it's a 7 series.
6 core, right?
It's a 6-core hyperthread.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 12. Where, you know, the latest, 9 series cards are there, and they're great and they're awesome, but they're not significantly different in performance when it comes to GPU or CPU.
Not
Oh, they
yet.
do have more cores now.
They have more
The-
cores. You can get up to 12 on a chip now.
The 8700K that they have is like a screamer for games.
Oh,
Like
it
that-
absolutely is. But it doesn't make much difference when you're already not maxing your CPUs
Yeah.
for your games.
I'm running a 4930K, and I'm not bottlenecking that 1080 Ti.
Exactly. So,
So,
hey, games are more about the video cards these days, kids.
Oh yeah.
Video cards and SSDs. There's your
Yep.
upgrades.
Oh, SSD, especially SSD.
Yes, SSDs
yeah.
are so good. When you want to
Oh.
load into a game before all your friends, or at least keep up with everyone.
And honestly, the prices on those have come down. They-
Oh,
SSDs
yeah.
are reasonable again.
yeah.
What, I think it was Paz who showed the link on a Crucial that had a 2 terabyte Crucial drive, like a regular, not the M.2, but the regular SATA 6, for $320
Oh wow.
for a 2 terabyte SSD.
That's a damn good price.
Darn reasonable. I mean, it's not cheap.
I remember my first SSD.
Me too. Mine was
were $1 a gig.
Oh yeah.
Weren't they more than that? Because when I got my first one, my first one was, I think, at 128.
Mine was $1 a gig,
and I want to say my
bought it
128 cost me like $220.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Which is way more.
I got mine on sale.
Ah.
And it was at one of those Micro Center Wednesday sales. And I saw it on the flyer. I'm like, well, guess I'm going to Micro Center.
Center's like gonna kill me one of these days.
Dude. They're doing a whole remodel right now, which makes it just...
Yeah, I walked in there
that's
and
right.
I
It's
was
been a
like,
little while.
I was like, where's my video card sitting?
Yeah.
It's like I had to walk through the store to find it.
Yeah.
They open up the walls.
It's like a safari now, trying to find things. Yeah.
Everything's still there, but it's a bit of an adventure.
Yeah, exactly.
No, we love the candy store.
Oh, man.
Next
I
time,
really need to go talk to them about like sponsoring an event or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they might, actually.
We will splash your face all over the page and say brought to you by.
Trust me.
Yeah, so technology upgrades. It's funny too because normally, although we've got to a point, maybe because we didn't have as big a participation we sometimes do, but I was hoping to actually like drop off your R9s with somebody.
Yeah.
Because we usually do the trickle down effect of saying like, well, now that so and so's upgraded, what do you have?
Excellent upgrade for anybody running 1080, like a 1080p. Perfect.
Oh,
card for
1080p.
that. Oh,
Yeah.
You gotta be careful because 1080 also card wise, and I was gonna say because
yeah.
my single 1080 original generation
Oh, that would kick the crap out of one of those cards. Yeah.
still running wonderful. I'm running 4K on that display on a lot of games, and where you're saying like 144 in Doom, mine's like at 100 to 120
Yeah.
with just the 1080, not even a TI.
Yeah.
It runs great, and so I've actually been very happy with that old card still running because you're running a TI as well, right?
Yes.
I had to stop and think, wait, is he running one or two?
Just one.
I
Just the
forget.
one.
Yeah, the only reason I have two is if you run benchmarks and like want your EP to be gigantic.
Yes, let me look how wide my bandwidth is.
Yeah.
Because I ran, I want to say it was 970s the last time I did SLI. And
Yep.
to your point, games
Yeah.
just don't support SLI. I got no performance benefit. From
There's a
doing
handful that do, and they're wonderful, but other than
Yeah.
that, you're kind of
Well, they're
like
still
maybe
glitchy.
10, 15%.
Yeah.
And the
You
glitching is
can get
worse.
drop frames. You
Well,
can
we've
get stuttering.
all run into SLI
Yep.
situations where we ran worse than running a single card.
Yeah.
Where if you disabled one of them, that game actually ran better.
Anytime I would choose to do competitive gaming, I would turn SLI off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
I think AMD's got a really good idea for video cards, and what they want to do is what they're doing with their new Ryzen Zen CPUs, where they figured out how to add multiple cores to keep adding and adding cores, and they want to create a GPU with like multiple actual cores.
I've heard rumors of things where they're just like stacking cores.
but I won't believe it until I see it.
Right.
so.
Well, and it's just not a numbers game, right? Just throwing processing power at something doesn't
yeah.
make it necessarily better because we deal with this in server levels where you can have a server. In fact, until I get mine running, yeah, the base is doing its thing.
Oh.
F-16's flying over.
America.
But the servers I have that dual Xeon board that's running two 4-core processors, so a total of 16 cores available.
Yeah.
And 2 processors. But unless you're running multiple threaded stuff, it's never going to take advantage. And most games are barely comfortable doing like 2 cores, let alone 8 or more.
Right.
Well, multi-cores in the server is really the only thing that's the only place where you should really have that many cores.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the only thing that can really take advantage of.
But I mean, it's nice, right? If you have a smart enough OS that can actually start throwing like, okay, this program's only single-threaded, so I'm going to throw it on thread 8.
Yeah.
Where this one's multi, but it only does 4, so I'm going to throw it on 1 through 4. And that, if you have an OS smart enough to do that, it's great. Because now you're just having your general systems running wonderful. It's even like the show right now, right?
Yeah.
Because I've got 12 cores available, right?
12 threads, yeah.
12 threads, available. I have the stream running. I have various things up and just running. I think for the longest time, as I was gaming like ARAMs and stuff, I still had Rainbow Six up
Oh, yeah.
and stuff like that and didn't even notice, right? Because it's on other cores and sidling and this, that. So there's an advantage to having multiple cores, but it depends how smart the software behind it is. So just throwing cores at a problem, I don't think is ever going to help.
No, but I'm always curious to see what the new tech's going to be like.
I want them to do it, and damn if we don't need AMD to come out with some competition again for Intel and for NVIDIA.
The new AMD processors have been... We have not had Intel processors, like the mainstream ones with more than 4 cores, until AMD has finally released the new Ryzen
well,
stuff.
and admittedly, Intel is still struggling with their smaller die right now, because what is it? Even with is it Apple?
12
I wanna say?
nanometer?
Well, I thought they were down to 7.
No,
That's what they were trying to get
That's
done.
what they're trying to get to.
Yeah.
is 7 nanometer, and AMD's now at 10 nanometer.
Which
is
just
kinda
basically gives
crazy.
you better performance for a lower energy cost, although your thermal profiles get interesting, and it tends to allow for faster clock speeds and smaller gates between, so everything just runs faster. But that's where Intel's been struggling to get down to that core level at a normal space. So the new 9000 series chips are barely on the market.
Oh, the Intel or the 8700.
Is it? No, I thought they had 9 series now.
Maybe they did release
Yeah,
that.
the i9s.
Oh, the i9s.
So the
yeah.
i9 8000 series
Yeah.
ones.
Okay.
And so yeah, those are out there as well. But there's something that
Well, most of the i9s are just tons and tons of cores.
well, they're a bunch of cores. They are running faster because I think
Well,
they've
they're
been
meant
able to
for servers.
overclock them up to 5 gigahertz.
Yeah.
But they're normal like 4.2 or something like that. Well, not even that. The 9s are actually there's one of them that's a great gaming one.
Yeah.
But it's 9.9, right? It's a whole nother series above.
Mhm.
But at the same time, they've shown it's not necessary.
Well, like the best chip for gaming right now, hands down, nothing else beats it, is the $300, maybe it's like $350, the Core i7 8700K.
Is the 87 because the old one was the 7700K,
Yeah.
which was amazing, and the 87 is just like that step
Six-
above.
Yeah, 6
Yeah.
cores, and this is like the first time you have more than 4 cores on the.
Yep. Well, that's where when I got
i7.
my 6700 or whatever I got for mine was at the time the first 6, and it was like the 77 was the baby that everyone was after, but there was like the tweak between that and the 67 was meh,
Mm-hmm.
and so the cost difference was like almost $200. So I was like, well, okay, I'll get a 67 then.
Yeah, can't afford
kinda
not
thing.
to.
Yeah, right. It's
Yeah.
silly stuff. So, anyways, that's like technologies and stuff like that, and that's kind of upgrading things. But it's poignant because some of us keep staying on top of the market. It's funny too because I just noticed it wasn't until he was leaving that Crimson has a new case
Yep.
because he got a freaking Alienware PC and he got one of those cool I forget the name of the shape of it. Basically, it's a triangle, but with the edges lopped off.
Yeah.
Alienware case that was really cool to see.
Yeah, it's a cool looking case.
All right. Since we got Campette back in here, decided she got bored with whatever she was doing. Talking into the mic. So we were talking a little bit about upgrades and stuff like that, but just actually throwing it back to you in general about game festing. So Friday, with the overall party part, I think you were mostly still down here just playing games. Yes, no?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you experience as a whole with just your gaming of Game Fest this weekend?
You explain what you're asking.
So, like, okay, how much were you participating in kind of just the tomfoolery around the whole event, meaning people upstairs and doing that kind of socializing, versus gaming on your own PC down here with Max and stuff like that, and just what you were doing? What kind of was your focus for the weekend for gaming?
I was mostly just gaming and kind of showing Max around.
Because this
Just
was
showing
Max's
Max.
first time. Have you gamed with him much before?
Yeah,
Mostly what?
mostly Gmod.
So Gmod, prop hunt, things like that is what you normally play. So him coming down and just being able to actually experience a LAN party with. Because have you guys ever done any other kind of LAN partying outside of this?
No.
And I say that as a loaded question because kids these days don't know what a LAN party is. We know that.
Well, it was today we experienced that when we're playing pub, and they said, "Hey, are you guys all teamed up? Or your friends?"
Oh, that was
And
hilarious.
I was like, "No, yeah, we're at a LAN party." And they're like, "LAN party?"
Yeah, no, the guy on one of the randos that was in
Yeah.
the PUBG game was kind of like, wait, like, you mean you're
You guys are
in the same room or something?
Yeah. You guys can see each other?
Yeah. It's like, yeah, we do that on occasion.
Yeah.
It's actually hilarious because whenever we do explain that we can host LAN parties with 20 or 30 people in it, people are just like, what?
Well, I mean, that's it's pretty impressive.
It is on its own. I mean, it does still do well.
You set this basement up proper. Yeah.
Yeah, it's worked out well for us.
Yeah.
Been good times. But yeah, so no, I was kind of curious because did you get any kind of response or interaction for what Max was saying about how he was enjoying the time?
He mostly said he was having a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I'm not looking for pros here or like massive response from the younger generation, but
Yeah.
just kind of those reactions that I'm curious about because it's something that I grew up with. And so for us, I'm used to what it means to LAN party, see your friends, and actually interact in person.
Oh, yeah.
Where in your generation, Campette, it's like you don't.
Well, I remember when I was 14, 15 years old, I would actually take my TV and NES outside because my parents
I like these stories, yes.
my parents didn't want, a bunch of teenagers inside the house. I was like, "Oh, well, I'll bring the video games outside then."
Yeah. Oh, you want us outside? Okay.
Yeah.
I always think the meme of that where there's a kid like sitting in the driveway with their TV and a like lounge chair or
Yeah.
something in the driveway with extension cords.
We
out to
literally
it.
did that with 5-gallon buckets is what we use for chairs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
doing LAN parties ever since I was just in elementary school.
Yeah.
Well, so
Like-
admittedly, me being like the old man in the room, I talk about doing LAN parties when we were still doing token ring B and C connections at 10 base T, where you had to make sure you had your right terminators on the end of your coax cable connection so that you could actually connect.
Man.
Yeah. There's some old school gaming for
That
you
was
guys.
the days when you couldn't game over
Yeah.
the internet.
No, you
Oh,
couldn't.
no, you could.
Well,
Because
yeah.
I was still
Buds.
playing. That was Duke Nukem, the original
Yeah.
Duke Nukem, on dial-up. Yeah. Oh yeah. On a what was that one? We were on probably a 16.6 modem before we got to
man.
32.2.
Yeah.
When we first started actually doing that.
You could
where
sit
we'd-
directly next to someone and still have 120
Yeah,
ping.
ping. Hey. Every time and this shows my age, okay?
Yeah.
And I will accept that I'm an old salt when it comes to this, but I still remember playing the first FPSs I did online with Doom and Duke Nukem, where your average ping was like 250 on dial-up. Like, that's what you gamed at. And you were good until it hit about 500 ping.
Right.
And then you're kind of like, oh, this could be tough. But because everybody was at those ping rates, it just seemed normal. And
Yeah.
so it felt as clean, as wonderful as it does today when we game.
Well, games didn't run nearly as crazy fast-paced as they do now.
No, you weren't having to go frame by frame to see where you have an option that you might be able to get 1 pixel better than someone like you do
Hey,
today.
you got to do it. Yeah.
And so, but it's weird for me because it's maybe just an experiential thing, like how I felt about it. But when I was playing Duke Nukem over dial-up with 5 or 6 people, it felt great. I say all that with still the understanding, I've told these stories before, but when I first got cable modem and the term LPG came up, or wait, no, LPB, low ping bastard, came up because at that time when I was gaming with people in Unreal Tournament, the average pings were about 150, was average. 150 was good. 200, you're a little rough. If you got under 150, you were like gold. And I started on cable modem gaming at like 50 to 70. And people were pissed.
Well, because that's before companies
did freaking
lag compensation.
Lag. I will
hate
forever
lag
be pissed
compensation.
about lag
Yeah.
compensation.
Yeah.
Well, we ran into it on, was it Rainbow Six or Call of Duty? It was
Both.
Call of Duty. Call of Duty specifically. Rainbow
Yeah.
Six is just netcode's piss poor anyways.
Well, their lag comp is terrible.
It's just terrible.
Yeah.
But it was in Black Ops 2 that we were playing where I was around the corner of the fountain in Yemen, or
Yeah.
not, was it Yemen or whatever, whichever one that is, around the like statue in the middle, and then died and fell over. Go see the kill cam on the guy who was running a 200 ping with our
Yeah.
average 50 ping, and he sees it like he shot me right in the middle of freaking nowhere.
Yep.
That is
Wow.
some bull. Well, my challenge with that is because it actually hurts the players that are on the better connection. Mm-hmm. That's the problem with how companies are currently doing lag compensation. They went the wrong direction with it.
That is my biggest complaint.
It should totally be the other way. If you're slow, too bad. Get a better connection.
Yeah.
Don't punish the people that are good because you have someone from like freaking Somalia who jumps into the game suddenly.
Yeah.
God, it's annoying.
That's just like back at Square One, because back in the day you played Halo on an Xbox over a dial-up connection, and you could just dominate the entire game
Again,
just with lag.
freaking lag compensation. So dumb. Stop it, companies. There's better
Yeah.
ways.
I have noticed something this time around. It seems like you got a new piece of hardware around here that seems to have helped, or at least yelled at some people.
So I've done a few tweaks as we continue to go through. I did not yet. I mean, the Steam cache server is still sitting there idle because we've
Yeah.
never actually directed to it to actually use it. It's on. It's
No,
ready.
the,
Nobody's used it.
how many times is the internet disconnected?
None.
Yeah, I haven't got
All right,
not one.
so people should, for multiple reasons, be able to recall just some stuff I've done to keep the show alive. Where one, last LAN parties, and 1 or 2, we completely upgraded the infrastructure for the network here to all Ubiquity software, or Ubiquity, the company's hardware solutions, which people go back and forth about they want, but they're basically their corporate level, server level hardware.
It's awesome stuff.
For routers, I have having a separate access point for wireless versus a built-in wireless router. But it's so nice to have those discrete pieces that you can control, to upgrading the main switch that runs everything to a 24-port gig switch that's all Ubiquity, that's managed.
And the reliability, that stuff's designed to run.
Well, I also bought one that had the bandwidth that it's supposed to be able to handle internally over 10 gigabit per second transfer between all the channels, meaning all of us can be on gig and actually transferring things back and forth without saturating the hardware itself.
That's awesome.
Where you start looking at the numbers on some of the other switches and stuff you can get, no, they're not actually ready for congruent connections maxed out. They will connect, and if 1 or 2 people are doing gig, absolutely. Once you get like 5 or 6, nope. It's amazing how most companies they cheat because they don't think you're ever going to be using all those connections for the speed they want.
Right.
So it's really interesting when you get into the numbers and the actual throughput of the system itself. So that was some of what we did. The other big thing we did, and this also harkens back to last fall when lightning struck this house. I finally got the ISP to come out here and replace the actual hardware for the gateway. Since that's happened, amazingly, we haven't had any of those random dropouts in the middle of the show.
Huh.
Yeah, and Game Fest has been a lot smoother.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't had any disconnects this Game Fest.
The last one I remember being
Yeah, what's that?
Like half the time we were down because the modem was dead or the router was dead. And
Yep.
Not at all.
That didn't
It's
happen once.
amazing
Not
when you
even a
have
hiccup.
solid hardware.
yeah.
Now, granted, we did not try to run all Blizzard games this time.
That's true. That is
We
true.
still did not try to do Overwatch
Not a single
or
person
StarCraft
played
or anything.
Overwatch.
No. Well, I think all the people who normally did just weren't here this time.
Yeah.
The closest, wait, I don't think anyone did. I don't even think anyone was running WoW.
No.
I mean, I loaded it, but I never clicked on anything. Like, I was tempted to do maybe some Diablo 3 or something, but never did.
I don't think any Blizzard got played.
Wow, we are finally coming to the light.
Yeah.
So some of the other things we did play, and we reached out to others, because I see, Hando's in there, and I'm sure he's been waiting and baiting for this one, is that we did actually get in there and do some War Thunder,
Yep.
a little bit. Tromad was a big one on that, actually. He was playing a lot of that. So Tromad and Hando played some War Thunder. I jumped into a little bit. They were doing some tanks. We just did planes. It was fun. I still like War Thunder.
It's a fun
pretty,
game.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And actually, that's one of my themes for a lot of what I did with this LAN party was kind of like coming back to gaming. I've been so busy in life, I just haven't gamed forever. I
Yeah.
still have to finish my walkthrough of Majora's Mask at some point here.
That's a good one.
Yeah, right? So I still need to play through that. And then, no, there's just so many little ones that, Rainbow Six, as I play, admittedly, I hate the game, but I don't hate it as much as I used to. I haven't played that
It
since
just
the last LAN
punishes you.
party.
Yeah.
God, I shoot people and they just don't die. Why are my guns all loaded with airsoft bullets and theirs are loaded with lead?
Mm-hmm.
Don't understand. Other things we did, and just kind of bouncing around, is Campette and I took off along with Kadigma Danny, or Max, Psycho came along, and Kadigma's wife, and we all went out and in the middle of the day yesterday went Pokemon hunting. Because that's still gaming, everybody, just so you're aware. But they were doing an event
Mobile
for Zapdos, where they basically put Zapdos back inside of all of the gyms that were available anywhere for 3 hours. So from noon to 3 in your local area, every gym has a Zapdos. They were all raids. And so we took the time to hit like 5 or 6 gyms or something like that. I think 5 gyms.
5.
Because they also gave you 5 free raid passes. So even people like Campette, who don't get around and do enough raiding to have more than 1 or 2, haven't purchased anything in game essentially, was able to come raid with us for all 5. And with the event, they were level like 38 or 33,000, I think, levels. So we had the 6 of us. Although also at the time, Max, when he started playing with us, didn't really count.
He was level 7.
He started at level 7. Most people don't start raiding until they're like level 20. And so with that, there's actually a cap on how much CP, how much combat power your Pokemon can have. And every time you level, it ups. And so at level 7, his Pokemon weren't more than like 400 CP or something like that. And normally you want to go into one of these battles with all Pokemon above like 2,000. So his were just like, not even meat shields. They were just croutons. They were
sounds nice.
so quick to get crunched and just destroyed by Zapdos that he would, we told him and he kind of followed through where it was like, participate, dodge.
Yeah.
Your whole game is to dodge and stay alive long enough so you don't have to constantly heal to get these rewards. But we went through there and we all did, I think, fairly well. Campette's sitting here baiting with her face there and not wanting to grin too bigly on this, or too wide, because the first raid we did, she caught what, 4 of the 5?
3.
3 of the 5.
Danny caught 4.
I admittedly caught 5 of 5. I caught all of them, although down to the last 1 or 2 balls on one of them. And everyone else had their various levels of success. But Campette, your daughter, ended up getting, with it, she keeps pointing at me, the only shiny Zapdos that came out in the group. Because with these Pokemon in these events, sometimes there'll be a higher rate of you possibly getting a shiny. Shiny really just means a slight color change, and that they're considered more rare. But in the entire raid for the 6 of us, for all 5 we hit, so like 30 Zapdos that came out, 1 was a shiny. And she got it her first one.
Huh.
Some of us are a little salty. Because we didn't see any other shinies in doing that. But we did do that. That was fun. It was nice because Kadigma and his wife had a route that was pretty like legit of how to hit all these gyms within like a less than an hour time frame, which is really nice. So we did that. So did some outside gaming, inside gaming. I'm trying to think some of the other stuff to focus on. I'll get more to you, Campette, because I haven't talked to you much yet about this. Another thing I set up for you to check out was my VR, and actually for everyone. Did some VR here, and the main game I was showing you was Beat Saber. And again, your face is lighting up as you're smiling here. So could you explain to the audience what Beat Saber is? Because I've told them a little bit in the past, but from your perspective.
So far, it's similar to OS, but instead of just like clicking it, you have to slice blocks in certain directions. You have to dodge different obstacles. Make sure you just don't get hit in the face with a big glowing red wall. Pretty much.
Yep. Try not to take it in the face. But okay, yeah. So it's like you said, like OS for those older, like DDR and stuff like that. But basically, it's a rhythm game. And in the rhythm game, it's a matter of following through at the right timing, along with music. In this case, it is famous for having the lightsabers. Basically, you're running with each controller having a light sword of some type, so as not to be copywritten, and using it to slice through these boxes, which are your rhythm pieces. And what's cool about them is they have a left and right set up, blue and orange, and so you're supposed to hit it with the appropriate lightsaber that is that color. And then they have the direction arrow pointing through it this direction, thus to actually get them hit and pass that one and get more score. And Campette brought up some of the major themes of it. There's also obstacles that you have to keep your face out of. So you have to lean to side or duck down low to not get stuck in an obstacle. Eventually, if you did, your health would go away and you die.
Mines.
As well as avoiding mines, which are some basically little landmines that are in there that you can't hit with any of them or it'll blow you up. And so like that. And I got to go through, and I don't know if I've talked about much, but hopefully as I start streaming some more, you guys will see more of it. They recently just did an update to Beat Saber. I forget what version it's officially at, but in doing so, it broke all the mods. And the thing that I did not realize, and this is for your benefit, Kuro, until much later, until yesterday, I got it fixed. They suggest backing up your plugins folder, just like rename it, and then reinstall the overall package that you get for the Beat Saber mod, and start from there, and then reload each mod based on it.
Oh, that's not that bad.
And then it works great. If you did like I did initially, where I just installed over itself, that's where I got the weird effects that it would like.
I paused the update on mine. It's just chilling.
Oh, you just
right
don't
now.
let it.
Yeah.
So it's good to know. But yeah, so with that mods that lets you do things like additional songs, change your skin of your character, change the skin of your lightsabers, to scoring things and stuff like that, as well as potentially some mods or cheats stuff, but just to generally the things it can do. But so what were your impressions of Beat Saber in VR?
It was really fun.
How so?
Well, I love rhythm games, if you can't tell by how much I play OS.
If we do watch your channel, there's a lot of OS on there, and you tend to do almost Korean on it. You're very good.
And I say it's pretty much, once you get to the faster songs, it's like doing a cardio workout, but in a video game, because you sit there like trying to get away.
Well, and that reminds me, I've played a lot of rhythm games. I think almost all of them, except for OS, because that's just on your fingers, is exhausting. Like, it's fun, but you also get that sense of I did something. And in doing so, I just think it feels even better. And so Beat Saber, even though you're just really moving your arms, I think is no different. And for me, once I learned, one, how you score highest, which is you have to start from 90 degrees of an angle from the block you're cutting and go 30 degrees past it, which will give you the maximum score of 100 points per cube. And then how close to get to the center can give you an additional 10 points. So if you cut it perfectly in the center, you'll get 110 points. So yes, Kuro, for your edification of how that works.
I'm just happy if I can pass hard in extreme songs right now.
It can be tough, and some of these songs are ridiculous. But when you really get into it, you can tell that the ones that are crafted with the game itself are really well done for the pacing.
There's a few of the modded ones that are very well done. But the problem with the modded ones is you don't get easy, you don't get normal.
It seems like everybody
and
has only ever made the extreme and sometimes hard levels for those ones, which can be tough when you're trying to just warm up to the game. And some are fairly sadistic for what you have to do.
And some of them just are garbage.
Rap God.
Rap God was ridiculous. But what's beautiful is if you do mod it and you go to the Discord channel, if you look up Beat Saber mods, there's a Discord channel they recommend, which go to it. They maintain links for all the major mods that are out there, as well as the updates. So they do it mostly through Discord, oddly enough. So I was able to get back on track yesterday, and one of the big things is that extra songs. And so with the extra songs, they actually have it built in so well into the store where you could just click over a song, you say, that one, download, and a few seconds later when they get it, you hit play. And so because it's also all modded, it's all free content at the moment.
Dang.
And so it's not like when you go to a rock band and you have to pay $3 or $4 per song, let alone $15-16 for a pack of like 10 songs.
Right.
It's nice.
Shh, don't tell anybody. That's
Well, it's so good. So it brought it up because when Campette brought up Rap God, I specifically also set up where I hung external speakers here that came with this Pioneer set I'd picked up off of Marketplace a while back. I set it up so I could do an external speaker from the desk when I'm here, mostly so everybody could hear songs when you're playing Beat Saber or something like that. But when we started playing Rap God, I wanted specifically because Shady was still here, turn it up enough because I know that Eminem is still one of his favorite artists of all time.
Right.
I was hoping to turn it up just enough where he'd be like, "Oh snap, what's that?" But the game is that I forget what they're called, but that beat map essentially, it's really hard. Like, yeah, he raps fast, and they started putting notes in there for like every word.
Huh.
So tough. But yeah, no. So Beat Saber was a lot of fun.
I was playing it for like an hour last night. I was so tired after I got off.
It's a workout, but it's also, I mean, you do feel good because you feel like you accomplished something in the process, which is pretty cool. Other than that, I think I gave Kadigmaon's wife a few VR experiences real quick, but she only did like 2, and she was like, "Oh, that's fun. I'm done." But at the same time, what's interesting about that one, because I don't think any of you guys got to witness it, but Kuro's wife, or not Kuro's wife, sorry, I just looked at you, Kuro.
Oh,
Sorry,
girlfriend.
Kadigmaon's wife. Yeah, that was, woo. He was wanted to show her VR so that she get some experience with it, like, and think it was cool, so that he could eventually get VR. And in the process, apparently, they've been talking about in general building her a new PC, like an actual desktop. And as she started looking, I was like, "Oh, this VR is really cool." And it's like, "Yeah, no, we should get it." And she's like, "Yeah, we should, but it'd be nice if we could move it around easier." So she asked me, "I was like, will it play off a laptop?" I was like, "Hey, you get a laptop with like at least a 1050 in it, and it says VR ready something, you should be fine. It just has to be able to run those eyes. Should be good." Started looking. She's like, "Oh, but how much are those gaming laptops?" I was like, "Well, they happen to have at the time on Amazon. I want to say it was a 15-inch i7 with a 1050 Ti for like $799
Huh.
or $699, one of the two."
Well, hell,
Enough
$7 is
so,
still a good price.
well, yeah, but enough so she looked at it and she was like, looked at Kadigmaon and was like, "Or we could just buy me a laptop, not have to build me a PC, and then when we get VR, I'll be able to do it anywhere." I had to give him credit. So like, that's your challenge. She's telling you to buy her hardware.
Right.
But yeah, so that came out, and I always like to showcase, kind of show it off. I showed it to a few of the people on the Friday night party as well. But I still am like invested in VR, and I think it's a good thing. So for me, it was fun. But you, in general, you enjoyed it, right? Okay. Good to hear. Good to hear. All right. What other stuff? Anything you guys have that you're just thinking of in general as we're talking through kind of what happened?
Well, going back to Rainbow Six, this is one of the rare occasions where we were able to have a full 5-person team and actually move and work as a squad.
What?
With communication and teamwork. And what's fun about it is we did not lose any matches doing this, and we had at least 3 brand new people to the game on our team at all times. So it just goes to show proper communication and, you know, pointing your noisy end of the barrel,
corners, yeah.
covering corners, you can win. Even in that game. That's super frustrating sometimes.
Game is brutal.
Oh yeah,
Because even the stuff we did this morning trying to play, and I apologize for the yawning people, but that's the lack of sleep I had.
yeah, man.
God, it was just not good for me today.
Well, you know, some days are that way. Yeah, it's a tough game. It punishes hard and it rewards hard.
I say I do hate, but I don't hate it completely.
It's just challenging. It's not
It's not one
a
I
game
would.
you just
It's,
pick
it's
up and
not
you're
one
good
I would
at.
pick on my own very often.
Yeah.
Like it's one I definitely would prefer to play with a full 5-man group.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Because we did have some cool successes when we did all that, but
Yep.
yeah.
And then Black Ops, we had a full VTW team.
Wow.
This morning.
Well, this morning and the last
I
couple
think
of
the
days.
most we had was 5 of ours. Did we get higher?
There's 5 of us this morning.
This morning definitely had 5. I want to say we had 6 yesterday.
I was gonna say it was either 5 or 6. So we didn't get much more than that.
Yeah, but I mean, it was to the point where we just lost the enemy team. They left. There.
Admittedly, and I think it was when we were playing on the one with Devo or Devo.
I don't know.
The club.
Oh, the Skrillex one?
Yeah, I forget the name of that map.
Me too.
But regardless, that
Yeah.
one, there were times where as a team we were doing such a good job of clearing
Yeah.
that we didn't know where they were spawning, and even when they did, there were times we ran through the whole map and didn't see another enemy.
Yeah, we cover our corners pretty well.
Mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say we do well. And so, it's Black Ops is always a fun one to get back to, just because we spent so much time into it that I think we all improved, did pretty good with it.
Yep.
All right, let's see. And Hando's asking, you guys doing more Rainbow later? There's
Yeah,
a
very
likelihood.
likely. Yeah.
Pretty decent likelihood of
If
that,
you
actually.
do play more Rainbow, I might try to play with you guys.
What? Expand your gaming repertoire? What? All right. With that, I did want to at least get in here and take a look because we got some emails into the show, and I wanted to double check what other people's geek cred today was since I didn't actually play any of those. Let's see. I can try to do a drop in since we're basically doing dysfunctional deviations all day. But let's see if I can hit the thing. So we have been doing.
Dysfunctional deviations.
But right now, I think we're going to jump into a little more of.
I'm a geek. Are you a geek? Geek cred level up!
That way we can actually talk to a little bit of what people have been doing geeky recently. And so I wanted to read a couple of emails that came in. This one from last week, which came in from our friend Pusa, came in and said, ESL, one cologne has ended at long last. Big Clan first wiped the floors with G2 and then FaZe, while Navi gave Australis boot in the moneymaker after having removed Fnatic. Well, so gamer names
Yeah.
without vowels.
Uh-huh.
Fnatic from the scoreboard. Finals were exciting to say the least. BIG has been playing a massively awesome streak in games, but Navi is just levels and levels better. And BIG, despite being the best German team in history, was still turned into sauerkraut in a game that ended 3-1 to Navi. Fully deserved, even if I am still mad that they beat Australis. All right. On to the non-Counter-Strike on the couch watching side of things. I'm in the middle of a massive project in connection with my LARPing Snowball. My club's monster suit, a Minotaur, is 6 years old. Show me any costume that is tip-top shape after having been beat up by kids with rubber weapons for 6 years. We've had a pro taking a look at it, and she declared him dead. Still, she could not save him within the budget set. So I've been given the go to bring Snowball home and try to stitch him up. Heads and upper body is done, and I'm working on the legs now. Lots of stitches, lots of sore fingers. Listening in, someday I might rejoin the chat, so tell me, how do you join the chat? You forget to add the details in the subreddit, by the way. Oh, good call. Lots of love, Pusa. Oh man, this is a call out to old school. / high executor of the first Waterbound. Wow, we haven't had the first Waterbound since WC Radio Warcraft days. So, Pusa, the one thing I will throw out to you is we talk about it lightly, but basically when I tweet out the show, we do it all on Twitch now. And so if you want to join into the chat, everybody, come to the Twitch channel. So I do stream this both on Twitch and YouTube at the same time, but the YouTube is actually our archive.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you come to the archive and you'll see everything, by all means, jump in, watch the show. We really appreciate it. But if you want to play along live, and actually the restream will take from both. I just may not be able to read it as well. But it'll pull in both the chats from the YouTube channel and from, because I'm using Restream to do it, and the Twitch channel. But I monitor the Twitch channel, so if you get in there and just type into the Twitch, you'll be able to respond to everybody. Plus, you'll get to see the things that Hando and Copy do with all the various emotes and things like that, because apparently, to be a Twitch fan, you have to be strong on your emote game, as Kuro looks into his to see what he might add. I know from Copy, it tends to mean butts, and it usually looks like Samus butt.
There's a strong lack of emotes today.
I did see a moment when we were still in the music part of the show that a lot of emotes had popped in.
Oh,
So they were.
That was
and I think they were.
emote spam.
I think they were entertaining each other for that. I've had to switch off some of the protections or lengthen them for the bots I use to monitor the channel. Because initially, Hando was getting kicked out of chat every other sentence of his because he'd have either too many exclamations, too many emotes, too many
you've used
Caps.
3 exclamations. You are bad.
things like that, and they're like, "Nope, done." So I may have to. I always have to keep tweaking it depending on what the kids are doing these days. But no, thank you very much, Pusa, for writing in, especially about the LARPing thing. I've actually had a group locally that I've not fully been invited, but one member has kind of said I should come LARP with them. And it's been super tempting. At the same time, I'm so damn busy every day of every day of every day that it would be dumb for me to try to do things where I'm taking up more weekends to go out there, dress up, and get hit by rubber swords.
There's a LARP group like 5 blocks from my house, but they meet every Sunday at 12. So I'd never be able to listen to the show again.
That sounds like the wrong time for them to do that. They should meet at like 10, or they should meet at like 2:30.
Yeah.
And then all of them could listen into the show.
Exactly.
That's actually kind of funny. But yeah, I've been looking at it and kind of wanting to do a LARP thing just because I think it'd be fun, but at the same time, I don't think I have the creativity for it because actually acting throughout, not just showing up and beating on people. So that could be tough.
We're near me is more beating on each other. It's like,
more of the SCCA kind of.
But they do big giant tournaments all around the country. I forget what league it's called or what it is, but it looked pretty cool.
Could I know what this thing is?
LARPing?
Yeah.
Good call. I took that for granted. In this community, people tend to know. So LARPing, it is an acronym, a shortening of words, to mean live action role play. And so you understand what like Dungeons and Dragons is and kind of the idea of tabletop gaming with friends where they have paper and dice and kind of play through a story, right? Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, you understand that it's your generation. Even if you haven't done it, then that's fine. LARPing takes it to another level where instead of you actually doing, you're just sitting around a table like this and talking through the story and throwing dice and writing notes, this point you go out to the woods somewhere or a field somewhere and you set up a camp and tend to camp out over the weekend. And you do what you would do with a D&D adventure where you're going on quests and you're fighting monsters and you're having big epic battles. But instead of doing it in a game or on paper and imagining it, you're doing it in real life. And so what people do is they tend to dress up as certain characters, whatever it might be, and they run out these roles where you have your heroes or your kind of people who are doing the main storyline stuff, to you have your people who are your NPCs who are providing your quests, who are giving you flavor text, stuff like that. These are all run by real people. And they'll have things like pubs, and they'll have different like environments you can hang out with. 2 people who are playing like monsters and stuff like that and will actually attack you or be out in the world. And to do them, what they do is they actually build that out like real combat. And so you'll have weapons that are mostly safe, either PVC, foam, things like that, so that if I did whack you over the head with it, hopefully it wouldn't brain you. It might just be uncomfortable. And then they go out into the woods and they all fight and run adventures. And so it's just interesting. It's a way to take that level of Dungeons and Dragons stuff like that to a whole different level.
I look at it basically as cosplaying with acting.
It's more the play side of it, yes.
Yeah.
And so that's a good way to do it, and that's why some of the groups that I know who do it, it makes a lot of sense because of how much they do with cosplay. It's something that I knew about as a kid, I think, but I never looked it up or knew anywhere that was doing it. So I've always been curious, and I've seen some pictures come out of the LARPing that I've seen around here that I kind of want to check it out. Does that make sense? Does that understand what it is?
Sort of.
Not a problem. Well, if you do have other questions, feel free to ask about it. It's good to make sure everyone understands. All right, I have a second email that came in. This way I can read this one off real quick since I have all the technologies here for me to do it. But this one comes in and it says, Geek Cred. Greetings again, good sirs of the show with the stuff in the place with the X. Agris SW here with an update to the last week's email. As I previously stated, I was thinking of renting a server for Conan Exiles, and have my fiance and friends thought it sounded fun. So I now have started a server that can hold 10 players. I will provide the name/pass for VTWs who would like to join in, and if we need more room for players, I can increase the size later. So also, the server is running. One mod to make life a bit better is linked below. So I made the call to all listeners out there to come in and join us in the Exile Lands. After all, it's the world. After all, it is the world, and we must be versus. And hope not to see that I have died of dehydration or been eaten by an alligator again. No, I missed a line in there. Versus it. If anyone still has not bought the game, it's still on sale in the Humble Bundle for a price of $12 for the month. Still a game if you ever wanted it. This is all I have for now. Must get back to the lands and hope to see that I have not died of dehydration or eaten by an alligator again. Okay, there we go. P.S. Shout out to Ambrosia Hartnett and Copperfield for joining me in the Exiled Lands. Server name, VTW Conan Exile Server. Password, we are verse. Mode required, LT's Compass, or mods required. Minimap. It has a link there that I can share. PBS, when browsing for VTW server, make sure to check the box show servers with mods. That coming to us from Agris SW, level 110 human paladin on the guild Silverwings, Moonguard US. Also Agris SW, level 15 Nordheimer Exile Clan, Silverwings VTW Conan Exile server, the paladin and husband-to-be of Ambrosia Heartnet. Thank you very much, Agris SW. Always like to get your updates on what you've been doing for Geek. Admittedly, I have still not played Conan Exiles. I'm assuming, have any of you? I figured not you.
I have
Campbell?
not yet. I've got a lot of buddies that play it.
It does that, and it's kind of one that when I played, I saw and played some of the beta of the original Conan that was kind of the MMO, and ever since I just have never had interest in following it, and so I know that I haven't played in Exile.
It's another survival game.
Right, and they all seem to be very similar in that way.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem I've seen with all of them. Like, you play one, you've played them all.
Although, and I kind of wish I'd gotten Fork to like stay down here and talk to her about it. I wonder about that with Battle Royale games. There it is.
So saturated.
Well, so admittedly,
So
right? The big
saturated.
one was PUBG first, essentially.
Yeah.
That kind of got everyone going like, oh, this is a thing. This could be cool. Which we did play a little bit today, or tried at least one
Yeah.
matchup, and the UI has changed significantly.
It has.
Plus, they had some modes and stuff. It was actually kind of cool. I was surprised I lasted as long as I did, but it was interesting. But with Fork, I've seen her playing like 2 or 3 different ones, depending on like who she's playing with or something, in the last couple
Yeah.
weeks. So there's at least one that I think I can just put under my, or put in my. Yeah. There's such a variety of them out there. It's hard for me to know which ones are good.
Yeah. Well, Free's a
Free
good
helps.
start.
Free helps a lot. That's why Fortnite's gotten so big, because arguably Fortnite is now the biggest battle royale game.
Well, there's one Fork was playing. It's like cuisine royale.
Yeah, the
or
latest
something.
one I saw her was like
What?
Cuisine Royale or
It's
something
actually
like that.
hilarious. It's
So I
just
haven't
like
watched it.
pub, except for you wear pots and pans as armor.
Oh.
You get like bunny slippers make you jump higher, or sunglasses make you shoot better, or it's a battle royale game that makes fun of itself.
Yeah, but silly and
Oh, wow.
self-aware.
Yeah.
Now that I could play.
Well,
Yeah.
because there's Cuisine Royale or
free.
whatever, and
Oh.
she did another one that was
Yeah.
originally, what was it? It was one where everyone in it was like oddly physics-based, weird-looking creature kind of people.
I don't think I've seen that one.
God, what was it called? Again, too many. The market's ridiculous right now, but I have seen where I kind of was trying to push Fork to do it, although I don't think she has an interest, to make a YouTube videos of just the various types of battle royale she's played, and I think it could actually be a thing because there's so many being created now.
Well, speaking of Fork, and going back to Rainbow,
Yes,
damn, she's good at it. I'm actually was super impressed with Fork.
she's better than I am.
Dude, she can hold her own, and that's saying a lot with her in first-person shooters.
Ha.
Usually, she's destroying us or flashbang her teammates.
Well, tell me, I heard that happened.
it did happen. The typical Fork. Yeah, we got flashbanged by her again, and we all got murdered. Yeah.
Well, because
Yeah.
in Rainbow Six, flashbang is pretty dang significant.
Yes.
It makes you blind for a lot longer than you think you'd be.
Yeah. Seconds count. Yeah, that's fun. But yeah, I was just wanting to say I been just impressed with Fork's ability to play that game.
Well,
Yeah.
and she still does jump and scream a
Yeah.
little bit, depending on what is happening. When the character came out the window on her, and she's like, "Bah!"
Yeah.
Died still, but
Yeah.
got bullets into it.
But you know where it happens. You go, oh, well, Fork died, so I know there's someone there.
Yeah. But no, that was fun. I was happy to play at least a little bit of Rainbow Six because there's mechanics. I guess the biggest problem for me is not knowing levels.
Map awareness is very, very important.
I still
Yeah.
do the thing where it's like, where do you want me to put the things? You know, where should I put the like reinforcements of the walls, and where should I put down? I mean, it's one thing. It's why I play the characters I tend to play. Where, oh, I can just put this bag down of armor on the ground right here, and those who can will be protected by it.
Yes.
You know, and if you don't get it, that's your fault.
Yeah.
Or I only got to do it a couple times, but like Fuse, where it's like, hey, as long as it's not a hostage match, because that did happen to us the one,
Yep.
I can just put this in a room and hit go and try to kill people.
Yep.
I say that because we did have one that we actually won because the other team was trying to come rescue a hostage, and we
Yeah.
were just chilling in there, and they brought a fuse through the wall, right?
2 fuse charges came through. Yeah. And
And,
they killed the hostage.
Essentially, the fuse just pops a hole in the wall and then shoots a bunch of little micro grenades in.
Yeah.
But you know, if you're the retrieving force, your job is to keep the hostage alive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, micro grenades are not good for health of a hostage.
No,
Yeah, they're
not
not.
especially when you don't know what's in the room exactly.
Yeah, I just let it happen.
Yeah, as soon as I went thunk thunk, I was like, okay.
Because you can hear the fuse up against the window.
Yeah,
and
hit
you're
it,
like,
like,
oh, he's about to fuse in here, and you run away from it. And you're like,
Or you start
"Sorry,
shooting right
hostage."
away, which admittedly, I got to think about that more. I need to
Yeah.
get the sounds down because
Yeah.
on defense, when we were on that damn amusement park one or whatever, the big one that we kept getting so much trouble with,
Yeah.
that I fused downstairs. One of them, as soon as I put the fuse charge on, they started shooting the window out. The
Yep.
fuse charge disappeared. It blew up.
Yep. You can. That's
I
what
was
you're
like,
supposed to
"Oh,
do when you
man."
hear it. But if you know they're about to kill the hostage, you just let it happen.
Well, that one was so just
Yeah.
like, okay, if that's what you want to do with your guy,
Yep.
you do that for us. Thank you. And we did. We just kind of like,
You just let it happen.
none of us died. We all backed up.
Yep.
Hostage sitting there on the side, like turning, looks, and boom. Aw.
Poor little fella.
Yeah. No, Rainbow Six was really good. Let's see. What else? I apologize. My winds are starting to fail me.
Oh, I mean, none of
I'm
us
so
slept.
tired.
We actually drank volume-wise a lot.
Continuously.
Yes.
Not like a lot at once.
No.
Not concentrated.
You know,
Just-
Again, no
Continuously.
hangovers and bad, but just the drinks we did have were primarily alcoholic with maybe some water in between.
yeah.
So yeah, no, that was any other major games that we actually checked out this time. Nothing new, really, right? There's no new games on the horizon or anything that everyone was like, "Oh man!"
I
The
gotta be
closest,
honest.
well, the closest was we did touch some MechWarrior Online,
We did. Oh, and actually,
which
yeah,
I enjoyed.
Yeah, it was very fun.
That was, you and I playing around
Yeah.
in those generators was fun, even though we
Yeah.
lost every match. I think
we
still,
did not win a match. Yeah.
We were having fun once we figured out which mechs could still do damage.
Yep.
The,
Yeah.
the
Change
one
one
hunchback or whatever we did was a blast that we
Yeah.
rounded him. So it's hard to say because the challenges are massive from when they launched, but it's trying to think how big they are from when we
Dude, the
last
changes are.
Probably last played like 2-3 years ago.
You wouldn't even recognize the game.
Oh,
Played. It's
really?
prettier,
Wow.
but they've changed things for how you drop in and
Skill
just which
trees.
mechs. Yeah, skill trees is
Oh.
totally different. Holy
The
crap.
mechs, the armor on the mechs is different. The omnipods are different. Like it's. you
It
wouldn't-
is
yeah.
very much a different game in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And very pretty. Very pretty. And although
there's
I
even
need
new
to,
weapons now.
So I need to play with it because I did see an option for VR in the menu.
Yes.
Oh man.
But I have not tried it, and that's something I've been wanting
VR in the mech. Yeah.
for a while.
That'd be
well,
fun.
because when we did the original VR for MechWarrior Online, it was kind of a third-party thing, and instead of it truly being VR in the mech, it was they allowed you to control the mech with your head movement,
Hmm.
which to me is one of the worst systems in existence and just makes you nauseous.
You need to get like the controllers with the control. Like you need to make your own custom mech.
You mean the controller for Steel Battalion that I have sitting in a box just over there because
Yes.
it was gifted to me.
Ah.
And there are drivers for USB to be able to bring that in and play it on any system.
Oh.
Because it has 40 buttons and 2 joysticks.
That'd be hard to play with VR goggles on.
And it has pedals.
And pedals, nice.
Oh, yeah. I do want to play some Steel Battalion. Oh, that's going to be good. Well, but no, I'll have to check out the VR because my hope was always going to be that you could just be sitting in your cockpit and look around it.
Yeah. that'd
Well,
be
because
awesome.
it matters for different mechs, right?
Did you play the VR with War Thunder?
Yes, and
Yeah.
I throw up, but it's beautiful.
Oh, that's amazing.
No,
Like,
the War Thunder has amazing VR.
Yeah, because you put the joystick right where the joystick.
Yeah, right in the middle,
plane
and,
is.
and your hands are there. And,
I only tried it on your dev kit way back in the
Yep.
day. I wonder if it's any better
it's
on the.
so much better because you can lean.
Oh,
So now,
yeah.
well, to the extent of where the game's not, it's just doing what you say. You can lean out of your plane
Huh.
because you can be sitting there in a
Oh,
small,
yeah.
narrow cockpit and go what, and be looking at the side of your plane through the fuselage
Oh,
type
that's
thing,
funny.
which is entertaining.
Yeah.
But no, that one's such good VR because the way it head tracks, you can look up and see as you bank, start turning, your target's out there, and as you're turning, right, it's up here from your head, so you look up and you can catch it. And then as the plane's starting to ring around, you start looking further down until it's like right there. So actually lining things up for crosshairs and stuff like that is so much better.
Who has the racing sim? Is that Cody?
Yeah.
Yes, so Beebs would bring the seat. I actually have the pedals.
We need to
and
try
I have all the rest of it. I just don't have a seating
that
thing
with
for
like
it.
Assetto Corsa and
So
VR.
I've done it with dirt.
Ah.
Dirt Rally, which is phenomenal. I need to play more of. I did get it to work, and it was really good. As well as Project Cars, the original Project Cars.
I know
got to work there too.
lots of drifters use the VR with Assetto Corsa.
Oh, guys, you'd feel it so better.
Yeah,
Force feedback for the win with VR, so good.
that would be awesome to set up something like that, and with MechWarrior too.
Well, so that's the thing with MechWarrior, and you can do this stuff, but I would be very curious to check out the VR because as long as I'm sitting in the cockpit and I can look around it in MechWarrior Online, that's what I want. I don't want to move the head. I want me just look around the
I
cockpit.
think it would be way easier actually shooting too, because you
Yes.
could turn the torso and the arms separately.
Oh, totally, and
And-
still be looking wherever you want.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Yeah, that'd
because
be
the
perfect.
big thing for MechWarrior Online, which is why I'd want to do it, is because every cockpit's different
Yeah.
depending on the mech. So when you're flying around in the Locust or some of these other ones that have big open cockpits, your head's out front. You can actually look around like a catapult and stuff like that. The big meshed windows everywhere to be
Yeah.
able to look out of that be so cool. You know, because other ones like Commando stuff, you're kind of just like right there in the front.
Right.
And so they all have unique styled cockpits, and actually to be able to look around the cockpit, wow.
So awesome.
So yeah, I would love all that. What else so yeah, I need to try out the MechWarrior Online one. Other games in general. Oh, I did want to bring up, because we're talking MechWarrior BattleTech. So from the Kickstarter that happened in BattleTech, you can now get it on Steam for $39.99. It's a very more strategic, but the tactical level game of the original type of MechWarrior / BattleTech rule set that both Psycho and Crimson were playing together, and it is turn-based and slow, but it is the game. And I haven't played it much. I actually, where I was getting screwed up and forgot, is that the game itself that I have, the license, is actually under GOG.
Huh.
Good Old Games. Because when they first released it, they didn't have Steam keys for it. And so while you can buy it in Steam now, and that's probably my preference because keep it all up to date, I have to run it separately through GOG, and I had to find that. So I got it loaded today, but didn't get to play with them at all, which is a little disappointed.
Yeah, there are those people who tend to leave when the microphones come out.
Yeah, right. As we were just down to the last dredges.
Yep.
It's actually quite a few people still here.
Actually,
No, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Not sure how much longer people will be here.
Oh, as soon as the show over, that's when everyone skates, unless
Yeah.
there's like one or two last games that kind of come out.
yeah, I got to get Invalid to the airport.
Yeah,
at some point.
airport.
Yeah.
You know, again, Campette can drive on her own now, so
Yeah.
she can stay as long as need to. I'm not sure about for you
Whatever.
when you guys are heading out. And then same thing with. Although I do have a limit on today. I normally say on the Games Fest Sundays after 5 o'clock, it's got to be time to like hit the road because I got to clean up and get ready for work the next day.
Yeah, I still got a meal prep.
Yeah, right. So there is a point where I do a
Yeah.
cutoff because while everyone's having a ball, it's like
I just want a
I gotta
game
work
of,
tomorrow.
Supreme Commander.
one or play one.
Play one after the show.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, cool. So yeah, we'll still be here, and so definitely check us out. We've been hanging out in the Discord.
Does anybody in the chat have? That's LAN only, isn't it?
No,
No.
you can set it up totally online.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
you can
Yeah,
go online.
we've invited people in. I have the external IP if
Yeah.
people need it, or you can do direct to game if you're friends.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
So those are the main things with that. Let's see, we've got about 15 minutes left on the show time for today since I didn't take a break. And I am like falling over ready to
Wait.
die asleep. Yes?
Still talk about Supreme Commander. I was in a game with Kudo, Invalid, and Dragon,
Okay.
and we should not have won that. We were
That was a
all
ridiculous
stuffed
game.
in the corner where I spawned
Okay.
because we were drawn that far back. But we somehow managed to win. We have no idea why.
So
No.
with that win, though, what were you playing rule set wise? Were you doing the ones lately? Because normally
No
in
nukes.
Subcom
No
we
nukes.
turn off nukes and we turn off.
Artillery
Artillery.
was still on,
Artillery was
unfortunately,
on,
and,
nukes were off.
and all of the computers were, what is it, USF?
Oh, they all had artillery then.
Yeah, all
Ouch.
3 of them had artillery and shields and
Ouch.
anti-air.
Well,
And,
because the challenge with all of those, especially with artillery, is it just becomes a spam. Because once it's built, it'll keep shooting at any target available as long as there's mass and energy to fuel it.
Yep.
And normally at that point, you've got so much production going on that it's not an issue.
You should have seen the Navy that 2 of the computers had. Like, and this is that one map that I think we've mainly all been playing that kind of swirls in the middle.
Yeah.
And I got my Navy on the north side of that map. I was like, okay, there's nothing out here. I'm just going to
The
build a
south side
little
was
Navy.
covered.
Yeah, the computer had like thousands of Navy on the south side.
Yikes.
It was that was an intense match.
Yeah.
Nice. That is. They're good, right? It's fun. And the challenge is, I guess we've just played so much Subcom that I'm not usually that surprised by the computer anymore. You just
Yeah.
kind of have to build it in a way that makes sense, and you should be successful.
As long
Should.
as long as you harass them adequately, they don't build too big.
Yeah,
that
and that's the key, because
yesterday.
you just don't
Yeah.
want them to be able to just mass.
Right.
Because the advantage the computer has over all of us is that the computer can control every unit uniquely on its own at once, where we have to like do selections and stuff, and so the
Yeah.
computer is way more optimal about dealing with large amounts of units. And so, but that makes Subcom is fun and always has been. It's just also challenging for me as a whole because the games can run so long that you just get turtled, and then you get invested. It's almost like what Paz did initially, right? Because your first match, you guys
I
went,
forgot about that.
and then
one.
you died pretty quick, and a bunch of
Yeah.
people had died, but then somehow Paz had like stayed alive.
Well, so we put in. Okay, starting the beginning. It was a free for all map, so none of us were on a team with each other,
Oh wow.
and we had one hard computer and then 5 of us. Nobody was friends with anybody.
Fun.
So then we started off harassing each other, while the hard computer was just being left
God.
alone.
No, always take out the computer
And
first.
then, yeah, that was bad strategy on our part. And then the computer, he got a fairly sizable army and just rolled everybody. And Paz was the last one in line, so Paz had enough time to turtle a little bit and get his army up. 3.5 hours later, Paz had a victory over this computer.
Well, that was the problem, right?
We-
Because everyone else was out.
Oh, dude, we had moved on. We'd played a couple Rainbow Six rounds. We went and ate a sandwich. We, got our drinks and came back. He's like, Paz, you still on that same? He's like, yes, I'm going to beat them.
Yeah, no, he was invested. He was like, "This is happening. I am going to win."
Yeah, and he did eventually. I mean, long enough timeline, I suppose. Yeah,
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
you can almost always break the AI.
yeah,
At some point, you realize the limits of what the AI is going to do to you,
yeah,
and then you just build against that. And that's partly the reason why I don't push AIs too often, because if you really want to, you should always win against AI.
yeah. You should.
Even the cheating ones, if you really want to.
Yeah,
You just have to learn and figure out how to exploit the strategies of them. So yeah, that happened. I think the last couple things, like I know Kuro and I played some ARAMs for League of Legends. No 5-mans or anything like that, but we love ARAMs, and so we each got into some of that. Nellie Mae was here, and she played some Battlefield. She's in the beta for, which one is it? 5?
Yeah.
For Battlefield 5. So I liked actually, and she has a big monitor. Hers is
Yeah.
somewhere is like a 32-inch TV or 35 or something like that.
Yeah, it's
Something.
huge.
Bigger and smaller.
Yeah.
It's not like my silly one, but it's a big one. So it was actually fun to be able to look over and see her playing that, since I haven't played any of that beta,
yeah.
just to kind of keep up. So I'm following. Like, am I going to be into Battlefield 5? Don't know yet. Follow it. We'll see. But it was nice to see that. Was there anything else that I saw that was kind of like games that you hadn't really seen before that you saw some people checking out? I know Max had played some of the Cuphead one a little bit, which I've always wanted to play but
It's
still
an insanely
haven't.
difficult game. Yeah.
Yes.
Stick
What's
fight.
it?
Yeah,
Stick
you were playing
Fight?
Stick Fight, which I still don't fully understand. It reminds me a lot of One Click.
Oh, another battle royale game. I think this is one you were talking about with Fork. It was Totally Real Battleground or Totally
Totally
Realistic.
Accurate.
Yes,
Totally
it is.
accurate battle.
Totally
or
accurate, yeah.
Battle Royale, or is it totally accurate battle? I don't know.
Battlegrounds.
It's Battlegrounds. Okay.
Totally accurate
But
battleground.
that's another one that kind of makes fun of itself because you're basically a Gumby character.
That's the one. That's the one I was trying to think
Yeah.
about. Yeah, it's so weird to
Yeah.
run around as that one.
and it's fun. Yeah, it's kind of shell. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun, right? It's still a battle royale. They
Yeah.
still basically work the same. It's just interesting to see how certain ones play out. Because even the one where we tried to jump in the pub today, it was interesting because they're doing an event.
Mm-hmm.
And an event was up to what, 8-man teams?
8-man team. Yeah,
And different guns, and there's supposedly drops
Yeah.
that we never saw work.
I never saw a drop work. Yeah,
They drop these flare guns in there. It's supposed to be vehicles come over and drop stuff, and you shot it in the air and nothing happens. So
Yeah.
don't know.
Anyway,
But even that looked cool. I want to check it out again. I mean, I enjoy those. I still haven't gotten able to do and understand Fortnite, but that's because building.
Fortnite.
It's just you have to build so many things so fast. I can't do it. I'm slow and old. My brain doesn't get it.
Yeah,
So still figured that out. Trying to think if there's any other games I saw. I know that over here on this side we saw some. What was it? Not yeah, it was
Killing Floor.
You had some Killing
Oh,
Floor
yeah.
2, and you're playing some of the Telltale game, the Walking Dead adventure game. And then what else did I see around? I think Unit was playing some Black Desert or one of those
Yep.
online
Yep.
MMOs. What else? You guys, yeah, I saw Banished and a couple people playing some Banished.
Huh.
Which it's a fun game. I just
Yeah.
haven't played it forever. Since I finished my first town basically 100%, I was just like, I hadn't jumped on it again. So they were playing some Banished. You were playing some Cities XL or
City Skyline.
City Skyline.
Yep.
What other games did you play at all that were? You did some Terraria. What other ones that we haven't mentioned yet today? Or were there any?
You play any OS?
I played.
I know you got V to check out OS for a second, which is funny by itself because that game's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous when I play it.
Yeah.
I think that was mostly it. And then, like I said, Brock's stuck on playing stuff that doesn't use the internet because apparently he can't LAN party here. He's
What
gonna
if
have to
it's
get like
his,
a gaming
cable
laptop
or something like that.
He's tried multiple cables. He's tried doing different
Ports
connections, different ports on the floor.
There's no
Last
telling.
time he was here, his son's was working perfectly, so we swapped those, and nope. It actually is coming up as though he has no upload. Like he's able to download, but the upload just 0. Almost like a firewall setting that's really aggressive. I don't know. So he's had to revert to games that don't require the internet, which sucks because this is his one day
Yeah.
game. I'm trying to look around thinking of like other people, what I saw them doing. Because it's also a matter of us all hanging out and stuff like that. So yeah. All right. With that then.
Yeah, we did some golf. That's
Yeah, you guys
fun.
did the golf with friends, which is actually a lot of fun.
Does anybody else have that
I
installed?
have golf.
I
it.
have golf
You
with
don't
friends.
have golf with friends?
Golf
No,
with
I've
friends
Golf
is
It,
online and is so
the
good.
new one.
Oh, you need golf with friends.
So, like I said, I didn't actually play it, but yes, I have it. See, I already did those. So the last thing I bring up today's topics. I was trying to think other news and stuff that had come up recently, just to see if there's anything else to bring up. And if you guys had seen any gaming news recently, by all means. The one that I brought up that I thought was interesting, and I guess is something for any of the Overwatch fans out there. Yeah. From PCGamesSN.com, they have an article out there for the Overwatch fans about Reaper. And for those who play Overwatch, that they have partnered now, where it says Reaper shotguns from Overwatch are getting literally nerfed. And what they mean by that is they're actually, I think, with Nerf, working to create some guns. It says Blizzard and Hasbro, so yes, have teamed up to create a safe-for-home use version of the shotguns Reaper wields in Overwatch, officially called the Nerf Rival Overwatch Reaper White Edition Blaster.
Man,
Say that 5
that's a
times
name.
fast. Blizzard provided a sneak preview at San Diego Comic-Con Friday, because that is happening this weekend. By the way, there's also Comic-Con, which obviously we're not at. They had a few announcements, mostly like some trailers and stuff like that. I did see the new Harry Potter trailer for Grindelwald. The
Teen Titans movie.
no, it's a series.
Oh, it's a series?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Everyone got the trailer though. The F Batman.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yep. They,
From
Robin
from
seems to be
Robin.
displeased with Batman for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of memes coming out of that one.
Yeah.
I haven't actually watched it yet because I was like, yeah.
I watched the trailer.
I've seen screenshots and I saw some of the original
Yeah.
casting stuff, and I just decided no, that's not the Teen Titans I want to support. Just like Go is not the Teen Titans I want to support.
Go's the only one.
No.
Yeah, that's it.
It's so bad.
They're playing reruns of the original now.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
just
good.
to tease and piss us off more.
No, because people are so mad about Go that they're
Yes,
like,
because
here.
Go is garbage.
Have the
God,
real
even
one.
they know it's garbage. So bad. Yeah. Anyhow, though, they're basically bringing out a Nerf gun that is going to be based on the Reaper shotguns, which I'm really excited for. And I'll say this for a few reasons. Now, they're talking about the setup. It says rival rounds use a spring action firing mechanism to send them around your home, yard, or place of business at up to 90 feet per second.
Jeez.
It also has a ready indicator and a safety switch. Handy from Reaper has to stand in line for convention snacks.
Place of work. I could see that being a lot of fun at our work.
Well, yeah, right, if only. Well, the problem with this, though, and this is something that's happened in the cosplay community recently, is they don't let you bring Nerf guns into so many places anymore, even if you don't have any ammo.
Huh.
Which is so dumb. The whole point of Nerf is that they don't hurt anything.
It's made out of plastic, right?
And rubber, right? Yeah,
And
the gun
foam.
itself.
The bullets are foam.
Bullets are mostly foam, sometimes with rubber tip type things, but what I like about this, and this is what struggle, the picture they show on this article is gorgeous. Like, it just looks like Reaper's gun, right? It's so good, and his guns are oversized, and it should fit that way, and just bam, bam, bam. So I would love having a pair of those, and do Reaper cosplay. The challenge is, and really it's only DCC that won't let you do it, but some other cons are still a little wary of anything that shoots, because they just don't want you hitting random people. But because they look so good, it would fit in perfectly with anyone who's doing a costume, and so many people don't know how to make prop weapons. The other side, though, is if this one works and comes out and does well, think of all the other things they could license.
Oh yeah.
Like all the other just guns in Overwatch for the most part. Just little bits of them there, and that would be great. And if Nerf could show this, or someone could show to Hasbro the success of a Nerf line of some of these, if they'd expand that out to other gaming things.
I'd probably have tons of Nerf guns.
Right? Well, I have a big one that's energized one upstairs that I actually quite like. Has rails and all this stuff, and it's one of the systems. But themed Nerf guns, because already people have been doing it forever with 3D prints and stuff, where they're like, how to take this gun and make it look as much like this gun out of a show as possible. But to actually do the direct licensing, I can just go to the store and buy the gun. And it's going to work and be what Nerf intended it to be.
Yeah.
So I'm actually quite happy for this. I want more of those. Just like how Nerf has swords and stuff and things like that now and everything. It's so good. It's like surprisingly tight for the cosplay community. So all of those things. All right. But with that, I'd be kind of curious also just in general, like what kind of game weapons would you guys like to see represented in a safe way?
I don't know what the name of the gun is, but it's one of my favorite guns in Terraria. It's literally a dolphin assault rifle.
It's a dolphin?
Does it shoot dolphins?
No.
Okay. Terraria, you got to be careful. You have one that shoots neon cats, right?
The sword.
Sword that does neon cat. And so, yeah, it's a thing.
Huh.
So that's
The
why.
Meowmere.
That's why I asked. Yeah, it's Meowmere.
Huh.
And,
That's what it's
and
called.
you go.
Meow, meow, meow.
It's
No,
yeah.
it
Or-
spams them. It's not like.
Sorry.
slow.
Yes. But okay, cool. So a dolphin gun from Terraria. Campo, is there any like just weapon you think is so cool that you'd love to have a representation you could play with in person? Even if, not a real gun necessarily,
I'm
but
saying I'm mostly into the real ones.
yeah, fair.
Yeah. No.
Because people have done that
Yeah.
too with a couple. There's a couple people who have modded a couple real guns to make them look like.
Yeah.
There's some awesome ones. Yeah.
There's some really good ones, yeah.
Because for me,
Yeah.
it's even like swords and other type of things. Because one of my favorite things I
Yeah.
still ever see is the Half-Life 2 stuff,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
where the foam wrench and foam crowbar type things, where it's like, yeah, that's just cool.
Yeah.
So, how about you, Kuro? Any other weapons you've seen around that you just love to see like a live version? Doesn't have to be guns, swords.
Oh, like the
Hammers.
needlers from Halo would be super cool.
I do like the needlers. They've been on my list of things to print for a while.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool looking, especially if I can get the translucent filament I have to work right.
Like out of most of the video, like Halo had some of the coolest weapons out of a lot of games, just like
Yeah.
their original weapons.
Yeah. Agreed.
Needlers just look cool too.
The Needler would make for a fun Nerf gun.
Yeah, it
right?
would.
Well,
Yeah.
so gosh, give me the Nerf version of what's the Halo hammer? The
There's a hammer?
yeah, Halo 3 and up. I think it has. It has
Oh.
the big like hammer that you get from the bigger creatures in the game.
Yeah, I never played
That they,
3.
it's an accelerated one that comes down just like whoop, boom, a big power hammer thing.
Yeah, I think I recall
God, that'd be
that,
cool.
yeah.
I've seen a couple people make their own versions, but like an actual licensed version, I mean, that's huge. But that would be fun. Let alone a lot of the various swords and things like that. That would just be so good. I'm going to learn how to foam cast,
Yeah.
so I can make some weapons and such.
That'll be fun.
So that's one of my goals. All right. But with that, I think it is about time for us to wrap things up for today. I do appreciate everyone jumping in and listening to some of our shenanigans, talking about just in general our gaming.
Our rabblings.
Admittedly, I'm exhausted.
Me not
Dude.
talking much.
You know, Campo's exhausted, but in
I'm-
good ways.
I am too old
Yeah.
for this.
I don't know how you guys are doing up. I mean, you
Yeah.
guys had the air mattress and were sleeping a bit, and you went home each night and you're a kid, so I don't know. You're probably fine.
Some sleep.
Like my neck
Yeah.
is sore and my knees are doing a little bit of the like. So you've only been drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
They make
It's-
this water stuff.
Time to play Beat Saber.
I did do
Yeah.
some of that. And I was feeling it. That I knew I was tired yesterday when I knew after playing a couple rounds of Beat Saber and it wasn't waking me up.
I would love to play some Beat Saber.
Of course you would. Youthful exuberance and energy,
You just save up and get yourself an Oculus.
right?
Yeah.
You
That
still
was-
need to pay me that.
All right, but with that, you've been listening to Show X on VTWProductions.com on both our Twitch and YouTube channel. Thank you very much for jumping in. Always feel free to share us with everyone out there. Whenever we come on, you too can take our posts and share them with others. Or once the show starts, feel free to host, rehost, things like that. We would very much appreciate it. And what else do we have? I think that's all I've got for that. Follow us on all the channels. We're out there on. You can follow the Twitch channels. Please do that first of all. You'll catch us each week when you do that. Social medias, you can find the VTW Gaming and Show X pages on Facebook. You can also find we have a Discord and stuff for once you do know us and play with us, as well as, I forget the other main one I was going to say. You can go to vtwproductions.com and see basically everything there as well. Oh, also, we now have a subreddit, so come check out our subreddit for Show X. Come check that out. We'd love to hear some more things from you. We had a little bit of traffic in there with people trying to figure out what to do with the channel. But I think it'd be a wonderful place to kind of hear your discussions, be it subjects you'd like us to cover, because we do monitor it, to just discussions about what we've done on the show, or even feedback and conversations back and forth between all of you. We would love to hear it. Any of those things we'd like to see. Well, I think that's about all I have. Is there anything you'd like to pimp before we go?
Nope. Think I'm good.
All right. With that, you've been listening to us, and it is time for us to leave. So we will catch you again next week. Hopefully Ken will be back in the house, and I think I'm here. I don't think I have anything coming up quite yet. Sorry for the sporadic shows we've had back and forth. But, hey, I successfully moved the rig to the basement and didn't have any enough technical issues and not do it, so that's good. That's a sign of things to come, I hope.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you much for listening, and we will catch you again next time.
Peace.
And I have to hit like 2 buttons here to make this work right. Maybe 3. Maybe.
Open Steam first. And
No.
Discord,
I got
and then
shush. I gotta hit this thing, and I gotta hit this thing. There we go. Just gotta get all the buttons that work. So, all right, baby. We'll catch you next time. Bye.
Goodbye. See you in the next zombie. Good night. I forgot.